friend to the end. Hey. This love never passed me by. I remember when I used to try. I did try not to cross your line. Cause I know good line, not because you're too fine. Yo, what's going on, people? It is I, Jason, favorite scientist, your favorite scientist, pickup scientist, the guy that talks about all things dating, relationships, social dynamics, pickup, and all that other crazy stuff. Ask me your questions, you know how it is. You know what I'm talking about, you know what we're here for. Let's give it a few seconds to get everybody in here, because I know how TikTok works. It sends all the notifs out there. Everybody come in, we're here. We're doing our thing. Let's go. How are we today, though? It is Monday, and I've had a stressful day so far, but it's been productive, so I can't complain too much. How are we doing, though? How are we doing? Ready for heavy questions again? Yes, sir. If I wasn't, I wouldn't be here, baby. But hey, try to keep the heavier ones at the end of the string, because you know the beginning is when there's the most people. So let's do our best to keep our secrets, okay? How are we doing today, though, guys? What's going on? What's up, Jason? I'm hella early. That's good. That's a good thing. Be early. That's a good thing. Tall women, absolutely. That's kind of what I like to do. That's my preference, anyway. I haven't dated a girl under 5'7", I want to say, is the lowest I've gone in the last 6 years or so. So yeah, tall women for the win. They're much better for me. For me, I'm not saying you should like follow me or whatever. I have my reasons. I have my personal experiences, and I know what's better for me. Tall women are much better for me, that's for sure. But if you want something else, that's cool too. Nothing wrong with that. Doing good, just left the gym. That's what I want to hear. What were you working on? And what kind of gym did you leave? Did you leave the weightlifting gym? Did you do some wrestling today? Did you do some jiu-jitsu? What's the deal? I got to get back on my jiu-jitsu grind, man. I really got to, because I see an opportunity to fight someone here on TikTok, and I gotta get back into condition for that, you know? Not on no beef shit, just, you know, it's just a smart thing to do. Get my name out there and stuff. But yeah, I'm definitely looking to do that. HRY. What does that mean? Angie. I don't know what HRI means. Planet Fitness. I did chest and back. Okay, that's cool. Upper body workout today. That's awesome. How are we doing today, though, guys? It is Monday. It has been a productive day for me, as stressful as it's been. How about you guys? You guys having a good day? What's going on? Are you coming up on that new program you talked about? Yes. Give it a second, though. The mods will be the ones to tell you how it is. I want them to be the ones to let you know, because they'll be the ones to see it first. I've heard this girl so bad. Does bad energy linger from that? It's my first time genuinely breaking a heart. It's not that karma doesn't exist. It does. But I wouldn't say you're going to get any bad energy from doing that. Not as much bad energy as you might think you would. And this is the very simple reason why. You did it not maliciously, right? It only counts if it's malicious. That's as far as energy goes, if you believe in that kind of stuff. You didn't do it on purpose. I don't suspect you went out of your way to try to hurt this girl. You weren't like, yeah, I'm gonna go hurt this girl today. I just want to, you know. I mean, that's what it probably feel like for her, but you know, that's not what you were trying to do. Hopefully, right? That's not what you were trying to do, right? If not, then yeah, you probably get some karma for that. But nah, most times it's just accidental. It is what it is. Can you play Head Honcho by Youngboy? Now, we're not a music channel here, man. Sorry about that. There's a lot of people on TikTok that do that. What's going on, Ikari? I'm happy to see all my people here early. Is Fish Army here yet? Did I see Fish Army yet? Probably not. He's always late. And so is King Henry. I'll get on them for that later. What are your thoughts on muscle mommies? If that's your thing, that's your thing. I do find it a little weird that some men are super concerned with how masculine a woman can look. But hey, to each their own. Do what you gotta do. As long as your muscle mommy listens to you, follows your lead, you're fine. Everything else is, you know, doesn't really matter. If that's what you go for, that's what you go for. It is what it is. Your hair looks fire, bro. Thank you. Yeah, it's not. Not what? Oh, you didn't do the breaking of the heart on purpose? Good. That's what I kind of suspected. I don't think anyone goes out of their way to break someone else's heart. That's not human. That's not how people are. I think even when the bad guy is doing bad guy shit, somewhere in his mind he thinks he's the good guy. That's how every human operates. They think they're doing the right thing. But yeah, you're fine, dude. You're fine. If at all you do get karma, it'll be well deserved because that's how karma works. But for the most part, I don't think you will. To Jace, I'm in the gym hitting legs right now. The grind is on. Goals over hoes. For sure. Fair enough. Hey, what's going on, San Andreas? Welcome. Tips for financial gain. You got to find ways to generate value from scratch. That's really the hard part of making money, is finding unique ways to generate value that meet two things at the same time. One, it's something that you can do, that you're good at, that are somehow associated to whatever your strengths are as a person. Does that make sense? The better you are as a person in terms of like dealing with that particular thing, the better you will be at making money at that particular thing. The second thing you got to do is there has to be an element of repetition to it. You have to be able to do it over and over and over and over again without getting tired or burnt out or whatever. So there usually has to be a greater goal attached to it. You know what I mean? Whether that goal is to be able to have enough money to do something else with that, the financial time and freedom to do something else, or maybe you really just care about solving those problems in terms of like the value provided to the marketplace. It has to be a greater goal behind it. And then from there, you should be set. But it really starts with generating the value. What value do you have? How can you get it to other people in a way that it makes sense for them? And what kind of price do you place on it so that they don't feel like they're getting less than they deserve whenever they pay money for it? Does that make sense? Bro really said as long as she's got compliance. And I'm hey, that's kind of the point, right? For the muscle mommies? Or is it that they're known for not giving compliance? Is that what's going on? Didn't know you were chill like that, bro. Hey, it is what it is. Do what you gotta do. They're not my thing, the muscle mommies. I mean, don't get it twisted. I did girls that hit the gym hard and, they do have some muscle on them. I got a girl with a solid six-pack, like a better six-pack than me. But even with her six-pack, she still looks feminine. You know what I mean? There is a point for me where it's like a little... Like, when she begins to have the same V-taper I do, it's like, not my thing. Not my thing. She can have muscle, but she still has to have an hourglass shape. Just me personally, But yeah. Big Dog, hope you're doing well. Yes, I am, man. Thanks, Vendi. I hope you're doing well, too. Hello. How you doing? How'd you say that? Ovijo? Ovijo 18? Ovejo? How long has your latest relationship lasted? So my latest relationship, in terms of like of all the girls I got right now, the one that's been with me the least amount of time is about 1.5 years, I think. Maybe a little more. Gotta ask her. But 1.5 years, yeah. That's my latest relationship. What do you think Patrice O'Neal was angry when talking about... Oh, why? My bad. That was my bad. Why do you think Patrice O'Neal was angry when talking about or with women? Well, a lot of his frustration came from the fact that he didn't get to learn everything he knew about women up until later in his life. A lot of men don't figure it out till later. I got very fortunate. I discovered what the game was by the time I was like 17 is when I discovered the game. So I began to get used to women and how they operate and what they do and why they do what they do very early. Most men don't have that luxury. Most men don't figure out women until like sometimes the mid-30s, early 40s, stuff like that. So there's a frustration there with it. There's like a giant frustration that comes with that. And Patrice O'Neal had that. It's not his fault. It's just, it kind of sucks when you don't figure it out in your physical prime sometimes, Let's see. Yo, how do I date a black girl? The same way you date any girl. There's really no difference. It's still the same kind of triggers you're trying to hit. You're trying to make her feel attraction for you. You're trying to demonstrate power, strength, authority. Culturally, the definition of power, strength, and authority might look different depending on the girl and what culture she practices. But ultimately, you're still trying to do the same thing. You're trying to make her feel safe around you and allow her to come to the natural conclusion that you are the once in a lifetime opportunity that she's always been looking for. black, white, brown, yellow, burgundy, purple, turquoise, doesn't really matter. Just make sure you're going through the steps naturally. You're demonstrating higher psychological positioning. You're teasing, you're flirting, you're being playful, and you're putting compliance tests in places so that she knows to give you compliance in exchange for your validation. That's it. What do you think of certain women preferring men with more feminine faces or features? Those women are usually more masculine themselves. That's kind of how it works. The women that want certain types of men are that way because of how they are. Does that make sense? It's not an accident that the women who are like, I love, or what's his name? Okay, for instance, Tom Holland and Zendaya, they're together, right? Perfect example of that kind of couple. Tom Holland doesn't represent like the most masculine guy out there, but Zendaya is a more masculine female, and she found herself a tiny little masculine dude. Oh, not so masculine dude, I mean. That's a perfect fit. That's a great fit for the both of them. Now, hopefully, Zendaya doesn't end up dealing with this guy long enough to where she starts thinking like, nah, I need something a little more masculine. Because that will happen sometimes, and that's unfortunate. Hopefully, though, she stays in her masculine, he can stay in his feminine, and that relationship can keep going. You know, if anything about that changes, that relationship is going to die. But I don't see that happening anytime soon, so that's cool. Damn bet, indeed. Gotta ask her is crazy. It's hard to keep track sometimes, you know. So I got girls right now that, you know, at one point we broken up and then they came back. Like I just leave them to count the years. I don't really care. Thoughts on dating younger girls versus dating older women. So it's essentially the same. The only difference is one woman has a lot more anxiety to deal with, and as a result is gonna make a lot more. I'm not gonna say weird. Let's just say interesting decisions around her dating because of it. Does that make sense? Like, older women know on some level they can't compete with their younger counterparts. And it shows in the way they date. It shows in the way they pick men. It shows in the way they try to flirt with you and say things to you and try to manipulate you, stuff like that. But there's like a weird need for commitment when it comes to them. It's not their fault. It is what it is. But that's really the only difference. Other than that, it's quite literally the same. You're just going to get different degrees of emotional spikes here and there. Does that make sense? So, I'll give you an example. If you, for instance, were to give a younger woman a compliment, there's even a better chance, because she's young and in her prime, and especially if she's beautiful, that she might take that compliment as your attempt at trying to butter her up. So it's going to be met with resistance. There's going to be like an agenda at the back of her mind, or she's going to assume that you have an agenda in the back of your mind because of it, right? With an older woman, they're a little more willing to go along with that, because for them and in their mind, it gets them a little closer to what they're looking for, which is, you know, to finally feel as safe as they did with a man back when they were 24. You know what I mean? It's these small differences, nothing too crazy to think about, you know? Awkward. Laugh, indeed. Hey, pick up Padawans. How you doing, King? You're a little late, but I'm happy you're here. Alamo, this isn't for real, right? Queen Corrit? Oh, let me see what you look like. Real quick. Yeah, that's what I thought you'd look like. That's exactly what I thought you'd look like. Hey, pick up Padawans. Hey, King Henry, how you doing? How do you keep a relationship exciting without dating multiple women and make it last a long time? First of all, you're playing the game on hard mode there, my friend. Very, very hard mode. I don't know why you have an inclination against dating multiple women. You should want to do that. That's like part of your biology if you really think about it. But yeah, you're playing the game on hard mode. If you must do that, the best thing I can tell you to do is get a job that puts you around beautiful women, so that you at least have a way to create competition anxiety. The reason you need competition anxiety in your relationship is that it keeps your woman honest. It keeps her on her toes. It keeps her making sure that you are the priority in her mind. If there's no outlet for the possibility of another woman, it's not going to work out the way you think it will. And that's why dating multiple women is just the easier, way to go about it. If you must keep out of other women. You're literally putting yourself in a position where you're making her feel like she cannot be replaced. That's how you end up like Will Smith. Does that make sense? Will Smith is Will Smith and can have any woman he wants in the world. And yet he did too much as Will Smith, as Jada Pinkett's husband, and made her feel like she can't be replaced. And that's why she's misbehaving the way she did. Same thing with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Same thing with, there's so many examples. I don't even want to start going into all those. But the point is, you have to make sure that the possibility of other women never goes away. Otherwise, you're just going to you're asking to be used. You're asking to be destroyed. You know what I mean? Let's see. Tips on becoming less emotional. The idea isn't to necessarily become less emotional. Emotion is a good thing. Emotion is a wonderful thing. The idea is to stop allowing those emotions to control you. So you have to understand that there's a stopgap between feeling the emotion and acting on it. It's kind of like physical pain, right? If I hit, like, you ever stub your toe on the bed frame, and you can look at your toe, you don't feel any pain, you only feel impact, and you're bracing yourself for a few seconds before you feel that rush of pain that comes with it. There's a gap between the impact and the pain you feel. And then there's another gap between the pain you feel and your reaction to it. Does that make sense? The same thing happens with emotion. There's a gap between what was done to you and the emotion that it elicits from you. And then there's another gap between the emotion you're feeling and how you decide to act on it afterwards. What you're trying to do is make that solid disconnection between how you feel and how you want to act as a result. That's it. And the way you do that is to allow yourself to get more comfortable in the emotion. When you're feeling the emotion, it's okay to feel it. Like, it's part of you. It's not something you should kill or, try to avoid or anything like that. You're human. Feeling emotions is part of the game. It is what it is. You just have to be okay with feeling it without allowing those feelings to dictate how the rest of your day is going to go. And you should be fine. Let's see. Quick question. What's the best disqualification to validation ratio? It depends on the girl. And the way, again, it's something I keep talking about. If the girl is hotter, more disqualification than validation. If the girl is not as hot, more validation than disqualification. Because the disqualification creates tension. It creates anxiety. And the hotter girls, the girls with high self-esteem, deal with that a little better than the girls with not as much. You know what I mean? You can tell a hot girl, you know what? That's an interesting dress you're wearing today. I wouldn't be my favorite, but to some degree, I think I can see where you're going with that decision. To a hot girl, that would be like, why would he say that? Why is he curious about me? Does he mean what he said? To a not so hot girl, that's automatically like an insult. You just insulted her because she can't handle the same levels of criticism. It just can't happen. So it depends on the girl. Disqualification to qualification ratio will lean more disqualification with the hotter girls. You should be a K-pop idol. No, thanks. I'm not even Korean. What do you do if she stops being affectionate? Why did she stop being affectionate? That's the real question. What about you changed that made her feel like you're not worthy of giving affection to anymore? Because affection, especially for women, affection, attraction, all that stuff, it's not something they control. They can't, it's not like a tap where they just turn it on and turn it off. That's not how it works for women. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Involuntary, right? It's not something that they have any real conscious control over. So if she stops being affectionate towards you, one, she probably didn't even notice she stopped being affectionate towards you. And two, that would mean that you stopped doing the things that would trigger her biology to want to respond to you in that way. So it's really more an opportunity to self-reflect. What have you done that makes her feel like she shouldn't be as affectionate towards you anymore? That's what you should be asking yourself. How to become less socially awkward. Put yourself in as many socially awkward situations as possible. Exposure therapy. That's how you do it. The more comfortable you get with being in socially awkward situations, the less awkward you yourself will feel. You feel socially awkward because you're scared to make social mistakes. That's really what awkwardness comes from. It's a weird fear to not do the wrong thing. And you get all up in your head about it, and then it starts showing in your behavior. If you free yourself of that burden by putting yourself in those awkward social situations and allowing yourself to see that nothing bad happens past the point of just feeling a little awkward, right? You won't die if you're in a socially awkward situation. Then all of a sudden you stop being so scared of those situations altogether, and that lack of fear around those situations will remove any awkwardness that you feel. Right? So yeah, put yourself in as many social awkward situations as possible. How flirting and teasing creates psychological positioning. So the entire point to that, and the reason why it works so well, is because when you flirt with someone, you're essentially disagreeing with them in a playful way. That's what flirting is. When you're teasing someone, or when you're flirting with someone, I mean, even like, maybe you're probably not flirting with your homies, right? Except you swing it that way, no judgment. But you definitely tease your homies. Who are the people that are more likely to, roast you and come for you, come at your neck, all those different kind of things? It's your homeboys. It's the people that know you the best. So it actually achieves two things when you tease a girl in a weird way of looking at it. One, it makes her feel a little more comfortable with you, because that's what people do when they're comfortable with each other. They tease each other. But then two, it shows her, through the fact that you're willing to get that comfortable in that manner, that you don't fear her. The reason women see you as psychologically higher, positional wise, when you tease them, is because most men don't have the balls to take the risk of teasing. Teasing requires you to say things that might be a little, disparaging about her. Again, in a playful manner, but still can be taken negatively. Most men are too scared to do that, right? Like, even when I say the line I always say all the time, which is, you have the most beautiful resting bitch face I've ever seen, a lot of men don't even have the balls to say that to a woman. Because they're thinking to themselves, well, what if she gets offended that I call her a resting bitch face having woman, right? So when you demonstrate that you have the ability to do that, automatically she sees you as a baller. Like, oh, okay, this guy doesn't fear beautiful women. He's not scared of my opinion. He's not scared to be disagreeable. This guy cannot be controlled by my looks. He must be a better guy than I'm used to being with. And that's how the psychological positioning happens. Let's see. Stoicism. So stoicism is a good tool to use, but it's not the solution to everything. The problem with the way stoicism is taught, especially by these red pill dudes, is that they look at it as the one size fits all solution to every single, emotionally charged situation you're in with a woman. It doesn't make sense. That's how I know a lot of these guys don't actually have women in their lives. If you're dealing with women in your lives and you have women in your life, you will know that you can't just be silent for every single situation. I've had people come to me and ask me for help, with my coaching and all that, and they made that same mistake. Like, oh, she was doing this and saying this and complaining about this, and I just decided to be stoic and just not say anything, not care. And it's like, now you've just shown her through your behavior, through your attitude, that there's nothing worth fighting for in a relationship. That's why fights are important in relationships. I've said this many times before. Someone called me crazy at one point for saying that. Like, oh, you're trying to frame it like fighting in a relationship is a good thing. Yes, it is, if used correctly. Fights and disagreements are opportunities for both parties, you and the girl, to demonstrate that there's an investment level on both sides in the relationship. If that doesn't exist, the relationship can't exist, right? So in those situations, trying to be stoic and distant and nonchalant, it's just not going to work. It's not going to work. Passion is required. Passion is involved. Now, am I saying blow your top off, get emotional, make some stupid decisions in a moment? No. I'm just saying not every single situation can, be met with just stoicism. Now, are there some? Sure. Especially in the beginning stages of a relationship. Stoicism is everything. Just being calm, being cool, being collected, not allowing things to get to you. Absolutely. All those lessons are very important. And, especially that part about not letting emotion control you, you'll take that with you for the rest of your life. Absolutely. Even when you decide to be passionate later on. But at least then it's controlled passion. Does that make sense? It's not just like, oh, I'm doing whatever, I'm emotional and I'm acting like a drunk guy. Like, no. But it's very useful. It's very useful to not just subscribe to just, oh, I'm a dead fish every single time. You're not a dead fish. You're a human being. You have blood in you, flowing through you. You have life in you. And you have your own opinions. And that's okay. Hey, Q-Ball, what's going on? Welcome. Have a woman left you because you dated multiple women after you've been in a relationship with her? Yes. I've definitely had girls be like, at some point, like, I can't just take this. I love you to death, but I don't like the fact that you're with other girls, blah, blah. I'm out of here. The irony is that they always usually come back anyway. So, whatever. But most of those girls you do have to let go. That's their way of saying, I can't handle the level of anxiety that comes with being with a guy like you. And for those girls, you just got to throw your hands up, shrug your shoulders, and be like, hey, it is what it is. I love you. GG's. It was amazing while it lasted, but we're just not a good fit. Peace. And yeah, that's what comes with it. Absolutely. What's going on, boss? Hey, Kay. What's going on, baby? That's my boy right there. God bless you. God's anointing is coming. Amen. Amen. How long you been live? 25 minutes. You're not too late. For once. I'm happy. For once. Let's say she's an 8 or a 9. What would the ratio be on average? It would still lean towards more disqualification than qualification, I would say. Now, don't get it twisted. When you do qualify, make sure you qualify properly. Make sure it's heartfelt compliments you're giving her, right? I always tell people, heartfelt compliments coming from you, a few, like, maybe not even a few, but like an hour into the conversation is more valuable than just the off the hip, you're beautiful. You're beautiful. Within the first 5 minutes of meeting a girl is one thing, but you know what? I've been talking to you for an hour, and even though I genuinely thought you'd just be another dumb blonde, you're actually one of the most interesting people I've met in a while. That means a lot more and seems a lot more authentic and genuine than the first. You see what I'm saying? So when you do qualify, make sure there's impact. But for the hotter girls, still do more disqualifying on average, for sure. How do you put a woman in her feminine and make her submissive? You get her to be attached to you emotionally and psychologically. You stretch her emotional and psychological walls, as I like to say. You want to make her feel as many emotions with you and around you and for you than she's ever felt before. Make her feel the high of the highs and the low of the lows. Naija boy, indeed. I've been watching a bunch of Nigerian TikTok, and that one challenge they got going on right now is funny as hell. Where they like catch someone stealing something, and then they make them take mugshots. Fucking hilarious. I use that line on this girl with 120k followers inside her IG live. She ate it up like crazy. Since everyone was validating her, she even screenshotted my username and was like, I have to follow you later. She didn't end up doing it though, but it was cool, I guess. Hey, she forgot. It's fine. She'll come across a screenshot later and be like, oh, you know what? That guy was kind of cool. And she'll hit you up. Give it time. Or, since you remember her, literally just slide in her DMs, use a similar line. Or double down on the one you gave her. Same way. Let's see. What do you count as cheating? Who cares? Everyone has a different definition for it. All cheating is, like the way I define cheating in general is when people feel like they're being replaced. I think that's pretty much how most people would define cheating. Now, that's not how I define cheating in my life, in my relationships, obviously not. But I think that for most people, that's really what it comes down to. It's just whenever they feel like they're getting a little too much competition anxiety, they call it cheating. That's it. When a girl starts buying you gifts, even when you don't kiss her yet, and she's investing, but she still seems to be distant fiscally. What? She's buying you gifts, still seems to be distant. Oh, physically. Oh, I read fiscally. But you spelt it wrong, but I get what you mean now. So she's buying you gifts but distant physically. That sounds like one of the members of the Big Bitch Society. Is that what's going on there? That sounds like something one of them would do. It doesn't sound like something a beautiful woman would do, for sure, because beautiful women can't wait to show you how beautiful they are, right? They're always trying to prove themselves physically. So if she's buying you stuff but not wanting to indulge in you like that, I would look into her self-esteem. What's going on there? Did you hear about the Nigerian pastor who went to hell and killed the devil? Oh my God, that's like every other week there's a story like that. I've been hearing that story since I was 8 years old. Don't forget I grew up in Nigeria. I've heard that story a billion times, trust me. How do you deal with your girl looking at other dudes in public in front of you? Why does she feel comfortable enough disrespecting you like that? Let's start with that, because that's the real problem. I know you're expecting me to give you like a here's what you do. Nah, don't worry about that right now. That'll do is patch the symptoms. Let's deal with the real problem. Let's cure the disease. Why does she feel like she can look at other dudes in public and get away with that kind of behavior? How have you been conducting yourself? And the irony too, by the way, is if you correct the way you've been conducting yourself, then naturally she'll stop doing that. But you gotta figure out why she's doing that though. Like, why does she feel comfortable to do that? And also don't forget, there's a part of you there that has to communicate to her, like, don't disrespect me like that. Like, I take that as disrespect. Don't do that. There's definitely that element, but at the same time, it's like if this girl really thought you were important to her, if this girl really revered you in her mind, she wouldn't risk doing something like that and risk having you not like her anymore. Does that make sense? Also, what did you do when you saw it? Did you point it out, or did you just sit there and eat it and just take it, or did you walk away? What happened? What did you do? Oh, my bad. I think there we go. I just got off work. I was about to go work out. I'm gonna come back when I come from jogging. Then I'm gonna listen while I do my workouts. I need my music when I jog. Fair enough. Do what you gotta do. What's good, bro? How you doing? I'm just calling you JJ. How you doing, JJ? Thoughts on money guy versus charisma guy? Charisma guy is better. I mean, charisma, first of all, is most of the time usually how you make money to begin with. And then on top of that, charisma will take you a lot further than money can. Like 10 times out of 10. Charisma is more important than money for sure. Free game. Boys are a little more destructive. She took that as misogynistic thoughts. That's what women are supposed to do, though. I'm not surprised she did that. That's like a woman's job is to try to manipulate your thinking to some degree. So her saying boys are a little more destructive is misogynistic. That she's supposed to make you feel guilty so that you can stop. Hopefully, I mean, that's just her way of hopefully making sure that you're not destructive towards her. You know what I mean? Like on a subconscious level. I'm not saying physically or for realsies, but you got to think about it like this. If she doesn't do that, or this is how she's thinking in her mind, right? If she doesn't do that, how can she control your behavior around her? Does that make sense? How can she possibly do that? That's just, it's a goofy kind of thinking, but that's how they function. So you can't be mad at it. Just be like, oh, come on. You sound goofy, and keep it pushing. Don't even remotely take that seriously. It's not something you should like argue about. Don't take it seriously. But boy, biology-wise, are they not more destructive? I mean, yeah, like sure. It's not like you're not wrong. Stop trying to argue logic here. It's not gonna work. It's women we're talking about. They don't really go by logic. They go by emotion. And you're just better off to just be like, oh yeah, whatever, goofy bitch. Anyway, and just change the subject. It's not something worth going in on. It's not that big a deal. She's got her DMs turned off for people who aren't mutuals. I considered commenting something, but I feel like that would easily become simp behavior. Even if it is, you can always recorrect. It's fine. Comment something. Don't ever get too wrapped up into thinking like, oh, I might do this and I might step on the money. Like, it doesn't matter. Do it. If at all you notice that you've lost a little attraction, that's fine. Indicate a little more disinterest. Reposition yourself back up. It's a very fluid game we're playing, guys. There's no, oh, you're either this or you're either that. Like, you can go from one to the other whenever you like. It's fine. Comment the simp thing that you might think it might not even be a simp thing. Really, it might not. Whatever you're about to say, you might end up actually getting on her radar properly, and then she actually goes through with adding you back or following you or whatever. But yeah, if at all it doesn't work, cool. You can always recorrect. It's fine. All good here, bro. Excellent. That's what I love to hear. Remember me, essentially. Remember what? This is the first message I'm seeing of you, Zafir. If you said some other stuff before that, write it again. But this time be a little more kid friendly with it. We're on TikTok. Weak bro. I'm listening to Jace while in the gym. Efficiency. Absolutely. And that's good. That's very good. Soak in this game. Get in these games. That rhymes. She's actually an 8, but I don't know if I'm actually stealing her from her ex little by little. If it's her ex, then you're not stealing her. You're just taking her. He doesn't own her anymore. So that you're not stealing anybody. Just take her. Literally, just take her. I pointed out when we got back home, we are 8 years in marriage, 3 kids, but I'd rather cut it for real. Oh, you'd rather cut it for real, huh? So why'd you get married to her in the first place? It sounds like you're very willing to leave that, which already tells me you're not as invested in this girl as you should be. You're married, right? And look what you're trying to cut her off over, just looking at other guys in public. She didn't cheat on you, did she? I mean, sure, there's a lot of details I probably don't know. But, you know, what's going on there? What's the issues? Let's see. That's her way of trying to control you. It's all a mind game. Absolutely. He gets it. Could I tell her to check her camera roll or something like that? Don't feel like that's simping for the moment. No, sorry. I read into someone else's comment. That's actually a lot more simpy to say. Check your camera roll. A better way to go about it is like, someone owes me a follow. That's how you should say it. Like, someone owes me a follow. That's literally how you should say it. Just in a playful way. How dare you screenshot my username and not use it? You're weird. Just say that. That's way better. You know, check your camera roll. Makes you look like a fucking fan. You're not a fan, are you? You said you were going to follow me and you didn't. You didn't keep your word. I've lost respect for you. That's way better. Way better. Okay? Not being scared to make mistakes is good for your game anyways. Absolutely. That's kind of the whole point of game. The whole point of game is realizing none of your mistakes will ever follow you into the future. Right? Unless they're like monumental, which they usually aren't. You can correct from anything. You know, and honestly, even the monumental ones, it's just that those ones usually take a lot of time to fix and get over. But yeah, it's useless to try to make sure you're not making any mistakes. It's a giant waste of your time. Just move through the game, do whatever you want to do, keep going. We gotta have another dark game snippet this live for real. No, you gotta give us some space. A lot of you don't even. I ask you all the time. I give you homework all the time. Give me proof of doing the homework. Go and do the homework. Show me proof. Put it in my DMs. And almost none of you follow through with that. And you expect me to give you some more? Why would I do that? Why? Why? I can't do that. It's a waste of my time and an insult to your intelligence. Real shit, indeed. But yeah. How to measure how good one is at game based on body count, any other measurement. I would say the best way to measure your game and how good you are is look at the girl that's been the most obsessed with you. Look at how much she was willing to do for you in terms of compliance. Compliance is a better measuring stick for your game. So compliance, the number of girls you've gotten to comply to you on high levels, how high those levels have gone. And this is also very important, the hotness of the girls that have been compliant. If you tell me, oh, I got this girl to, pay my way through college for me, right? And then you tell me, another guy goes, oh, I got this girl to buy me a car. One is significantly more investment than the other. But I'll take the car one over the college one if the college one is a 5 and the car one is a 10. Does that make sense? So the compliance she's giving you, how often she's giving it to you, obviously, the quality of the compliance. How many women in general have given you those high levels of compliance and how hot they are on average. That's a very good way to know, okay, this guy's game is good, this guy's game sucks, blah, blah, blah. That's why I feel sorry for the guys that only tell me about, oh, I got this 10. I slept with her. Okay, cool. What happened after that? Oh no, bro, it was one night. Like you miss out on so many opportunities there to run solid game going forward. Kind of miss the point of game if you only keep ending your game when you hit level 10. Like there's level 100. Let's go. Is this homework for people in the course or everyone? First time hearing this. Oh, it's for everyone. I usually just give them over here. I give them over here and I go and run your game and practice and like the one I gave on Valentine's Day. I told everyone to go into their phones, on Valentine's Day, and I said, well, it was the day before Valentine's Day, I think. And I said, listen, you're going to text every girl in your phone on Valentine's Day tomorrow. What did I say? You guys should text them? Oh, yeah, I said, text her, I miss you, wait about 10 minutes, and then afterwards say, wrong person, my bad. Right? Just for funsies, just to see what happens. And some of you did, and I appreciate that. But a lot of you didn't give me any updates after that. So, I give my homework out sparingly now. Because it has to be useful to you. I also give another homework where I said, walk outside, find a girl, pick your nose in silence in front of her, and just stand there until she leaves awkwardly or something else happens and you get removed. And again, 2 of you I know slid in my DMs and were like, Jason, I did it. And I knew they did it because of the reaction they gave me, right? Because this is how I know if you do my homework or not. I never give you what the reaction is going to be. But you're going to have to tell me what it is. And if you lie to me, I'll know. Because I've done those things, right? So, yeah. This is how my homework always ever gets given. Let's see. How do I figure out what I did to make her stop being affectionate? You got to take stock of yourself, man. Look out for the things you did that might have shown you as a weak man. That's usually the biggest one. Anything you did that makes you look a lot less competent in her eyes, a lot less like a leader, a lot less like someone she can trust to keep her safe, Anything you do that makes you look pussy. That's usually what got her, pussy to dry up. So, look out for those things. Look out for the neediness, for the sulking, for the constantly begging for stuff like affection, or if you're at the point where you're begging her to be more affectionate, you're down bad. Like, she's trying to replace you ASAP, I promise you. She's trying to cheat on you the best she can. If you're at the point where you're constantly asking her for reassurance in the relationship, if you're doing dumb stuff like constantly giving her reassurance into the future, telling her everything's gonna be fine, it's all gonna be good. I'll never leave you, baby. Yeah, I'm gonna love you forever. If you die, I'll never remarry, or some dumb shit like that. Like, you gotta make sure you're keeping her on her toes. Like, literally ask yourself that. What things in my life right now help to keep her on her toes? If those things don't exist, you can't be surprised that she's a little lackadaisical about your relationship. You can't be surprised. There always has to be a reason when it comes to women. They're like horses with a carrot dangling in front of them. If the carrot isn't there, they're not moving. There has to be a carrot. And a lot of you throw away those carrots. That's why your women just get lazy. So be mindful of those things. Which DMs do we send here on TikTok? Here on TikTok is fine, or my Instagram. Either way, it doesn't matter. What's good homework for a beginner in real life or social media? Talk to as many girls as possible. Literally walk up to girls, like for a complete beginner, walk up to girls and just be like, hey, my name is so-and-so, what's yours? Just want to come over here and tell you look pretty. Alright, gotta go. That's it. Just say that over and over and over again. The best part about doing that exercise is twofold. One, you desensitize yourself to the fear of talking to women you don't know. But then 2, you notice something interesting about yourself. When you're not reaching for a certain goal, you're not as nervous to talk to women. The reason you feel like there's a burden of the world on you when you're about to talk to a woman is because you're always thinking about the goal. I hope I can get her number. I hope she'll give me her Instagram at least. But when you just talk to girls and you already know the conversation is going to end in you going, just wanted to talk to you and tell you you're pretty, bye, then you're a lot less burdened by that feeling of, I hope I'm not feeling like a creep right now. You only feel like a creep when you feel like you're needing something that you don't deserve. So do that a bunch of times and do it as many times as possible without fear of, rejection or anything like that. That's a good exercise to do. I started watching that Sex Life. Yeah, Sex Life show. Completely understand the provider versus protector concept now. Absolutely. And I highly recommend anyone, if you have Netflix or access to a Netflix account somehow, please watch Sex Life on Netflix. It's one of the best. Is it the best? I'm going to say the best. It's the best piece of media out there to demonstrate properly the difference between a protector mindset and a provider mindset. It's literally the same story that women eat up all the time that's written in Netflix form. It's a love triangle. It's a woman in the middle of two amazing guys, but one has a provider mindset and one has a protector mindset. And yeah, the protector won. Exactly like you think he would. Like, I don't know if you've gotten to the part yet where the provider, in this case, her husband, literally begs the protector, like, dude, please, just leave her alone. And if you don't, at least just take care of her and, take care of the kids. Please. Like, he's begging him because he knows he can't compete. You know what I mean? So, yeah. The thing about the show, though, is if you don't know about protector versus provider mindset, you might think it's a show about sex. And that's how they market it. They make it look like, oh, there's a woman has to have two kind of guys. A man that she truly loves and a man she can't stop fucking. But in reality, it's just biology. There's one guy that give her what she actually wants. And then there's one guy that society tells her to be attached to. And the guy that gives her what she actually wants will always take precedent over the guy that she's societally attached to. You know what I mean? Even the show in itself and all they're trying to like throw you off the scent of that, they even do a bad job at hiding that fact. Like the last episode of season 1, where she literally runs to her lover's house, like barefoot. She's like, yeah, I'm not leaving my husband, but I'm not leaving my husband. I still love my husband, but I'm gonna literally do a sprint to go get some dick. Right? What are we talking about right now? Who's winning here? It's like they say, look at a woman's feet. If you want to know how she's thinking or how she's feeling, look at her feet. What direction are they pointed in? Right? So yeah, it's a great show. Go watch it. I highly recommend it for everybody. And at first she was just curious to know what it was when I told her. I told her that to fix herself and be better, she exploded. Is that what does how I need you to write that again. Hold on. Also, that first part is the first message I'm seeing. And I'm guessing that's not the first message you wrote. So clearly TikTok took away some of the comments. Write them again, be a little more kid friendly. You know what I mean? Let me try to understand it though. She's just curious to know what it was when I told her. You wrote telled, which also threw me off. And I tell her that she needs to fix herself and be better. She exploded. So you told a woman to fix herself and be a better person, and she exploded. Yeah, you hurt her ego. So that makes sense. That makes sense. But when she exploded, how did you behave though? I don't care if a woman explodes. That's part of the design. My thing is, how do you behave when they explode like that? Are you allowing it to get to you? Are you allowing yourself to get to that emotional place with her? What happened there? You never do that, bro. Sure. I know we're talking about that. I did the V-Day homework. I got blocked a few times. One girl said that was embarrassing. Why didn't you delete it? That's funny. I like that though. That's good. Now you can see the difference in how different women view you. So the girls you tell that to will either show you one of three type of reactions: positive, neutral, negative, and it all depends on the level of respect they have for you. The girl that said, "Oh, that's embarrassing," which, by the way, doesn't even matter what she says, and also you can always change her mind around that. If at all a girl says that's embarrassing, you'd be like, "I don't feel embarrassed." Boom, confidence shown, shit test pass, moving on, right? So it doesn't really matter. Like, she's not the arbiter of all things embarrassing. You can literally say, "I don't feel embarrassed. I don't care." Whatever. Screenshot it and put it in the group chat. Don't give a fuck. But the point I'm trying to make is, depending on, and that's why I told you guys to send that message. Depending on who you send that to, you get different reactions. And you want to start looking at the storyline you have with that girl and figuring out, oh, that's why she gave me that reaction. It's a very beautiful instant feedback loop, right? If done correctly, that's good. That's very good. Gotta let them be who they are for real. If it's real, she's always going to come back to where home is, if that's you. Sure. What books or content creators do you recommend to us? I already have a book recommendations series. Go watch that. It's on my YouTube. All the content creators that I support, I follow them already, so go see that. I'm on episode 3 right now. What do you think of that provider guy trying to imitate the ex? Isn't it just disparate of him? Yes. And that's what providers tend to do, though. Right? I know for a fact at some point, if not right now, Russell Wilson has tried to copy Future. And some things Future did. Does that make sense? Like, no doubt. That's like every provider on some level knows that they're inferior to the protector. No protector is wishing they're a provider. They might wish they had some traits the provider had. That's very true, right? I'm talking about pure protector, pure provider, right? The extremes, like in the case of sex life. In the case of like the middle grounds, protectors with the willingness to provide, or providers with the willingness to protect, not so much. But a pure protector does envy some things about a pure provider, like the innocence they have, the naivete. They do remember the days when they were that naive and innocent, and they're like, you know what? Maybe my life would be a lot less of a burden if I didn't know how women were. But the provider is always envious of the protector. Always. Always. It's always like, you're probably not even at that. There's a scene, and you'll probably get to this by I think episode 5, where he actually tracks the dude down and stalks him all the way to, I think, like his gym, like the place they all work out and stuff. And then he follows him. This is some rather gay shit. Follows him into the fucking showers to go check his tool out. Not even kidding. It's pathetic, but yeah, that's the kind of life you're signing up for if you want to be a pure provider. That's what you're up for. That's how your life is gonna look. Very pathetic, but yeah. Bro's work ethic is on a low level, 3 for 3. It's 4 for 4. You're wearing at it's 5 for 5 actually, right? Did I miss a day? I think I missed a couple days. I might be tripping. I saw your series on love bombing, but what you didn't say how to love bomb. You said how it is effective and when to implement it. I literally told you how to love bomb. I even gave examples in that. Did you watch the whole thing? Are you sure? Are you sure you watched the whole thing? I literally talk about like emotional spikes, what to do, how to confuse her, what to say, in terms of like positive, negative emotions in quick successions. I talk about all those things in the Love Bombing series. All those things. Let's see. Hilarious. Yeah, that was episode 3. Okay. It was hella creepy. Yes, it was. But like, you gotta understand, when you become that kind of man, like especially a balanced protector, like as in a protector with the willingness and the ability to provide, you're gonna have that happen to you. You're gonna have guys that stalk you from afar and you're never gonna know why. Well, I'm telling you why not right now. They want to be you. They want to be like you. They want to have what you have. They want to have access to the people and the things and the women especially that you have. They just can't understand why. Like, I've always suspected, I have about 50,000 followers, right? I've always suspected a good 20,000 of them are just pure haters. That's my assumption. Like, it's just guys that fucking hate my guts. That want to see me fail. But they can't stop watching me. Because they know deep down they want what I have, but they're not willing to put in like the bare minimum amount of work to become me so they can get what I have. A lot of men are very envious of men that can take their bitch. And you can't blame them, you know? If you're a man that doesn't know how to not have your bitch taken, I expect you to be scared of me. I'm the worst nightmare for you. Are you kidding me? Dread-headed, pierced, bearded ass, black dude? Come on. I'm the last person you want to catch on top of your wife after a long day of working. And I'm aware of that. That's the scary part. I know that about myself. And I can be as evil as I want to be. And I definitely have. Don't get it twisted. But my job is to make you not be that man anymore so you can stop being scared of me. I'm trying to bring you over to my side so I can have an army of people like me so that no one has to be so scared of me anymore. Because it's not magic what I'm doing, guys. It's math. It's not magic, it's math. There's a formula to this shit. And if you follow the formula, you become me, then you fear nobody. Just saying. Just saying, baby. Let's see. You said fighting shows passions. How do you fight or argue properly? The first thing you have to understand about fights is that the only fight you'll ever have in your relationship is going to be around something that you're not doing that she wants you to do. Every fight a woman has with you is an attempt to manipulate you. Once you remember that, then you're going to remember the second thing, which is, since every fight is an attempt to manipulate you, Every fight for you should be your attempt at making sure you're not getting manipulated. All right? Okay, cool. Once that impasse happens, and that is an impasse, right? It's going to be her trying to manipulate you. You don't want to get manipulated. You now have two choices. One, you do what most men do, and they break and they bend for their woman, right? Fair enough. Which doesn't help them long term, because women don't respect men that can break. Or two, you make sure you argue like your point of the thing you're trying not to get manipulated around, so that your frame wins out. And if sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes passion is involved in that, then so be it. So be it. Especially when it's something that is blatantly like right and just and important. If that's the case, then yes, do it. And then, and this is what I always like to do. Whenever passion is involved, always remind her that there's the option for you to go nuclear. If you're going to be passionate, then at least you should be dangerous about your passion. You should be like, listen, I don't even like talking like this or feeling like this. I'd rather we break up than for us to keep having this back and forth. And then all of a sudden, boom, frame one, authority established, fight dissolved. That's how it works. So you want to treat it like that. That's pretty much how I want to treat it. Raph. What's a Raph? He keeps trying to redeem himself, but it's just embarrassing. Yeah, you'd be surprised how many men are in that same position and don't even realize it. Don't even realize it. The size matter, bro. I'm hella average, like 5'5". As long as you know how to use it. In my experience, that's what's really helped. It's not even the size. It's like, A, know how to use it, have some technique to your game. B, and this is even more important, carry yourself like you have a 20-inch dick. Like literally. And I'm not saying lie to yourself. I'm saying have the energy of someone that knows what they're slinging is good. That goes a longer way than you realize. That's what matters the most. Like there's a reason they say big D energy and not big D. Does that make sense? There's a reason they talk about the energy more than the actual D. Are we getting it? All right, cool. Let's not talk too much before TikTok decides to act funny. Yes, sir, I saw it. What are some actions you can do to love bomb? I'm a bit confused. Confused about what? About what? You're trying to make her feel more than one emotion in a short period of time. Depending on the context you are in, and, whatever stage you're in, talking stage, already in a relationship, blah, blah, you're trying to make her feel good and bad in a short period of time. That's going to look different depending on what you're able to do. So, for instance, can you at the very bare minimum go through a beautiful, heartfelt conversation with her where you tell her how much you love her, how much you appreciate her, stuff like that, and then right after that, ignore her for a week? Can you at least do that and see that making her feel validated and special will put her on an emotional high, positive emotion, and then right after ignoring her for a week, you bring all that emotion down, negative emotion. That's what you're doing. You're doing make her feel good, make her feel like shit. Make her feel good, make her feel like shit. You're doing that in both directions as often as you can. That's what love bombing is. Essentially. That's it. In fact, that's all a relationship is in general. It's just called love bombing because that's what you're doing in the beginning stages of the relationship. And you're doing it in quicker successions, right? So in a love bombing stage, you probably won't tell her you love her. Well, actually you would. Now that I think about it, you definitely would. But you would do it in such a way where it gives her hope for the future. And then you're cutting off the hope for that future by doing something else. Like for instance, love bombing stage. You go, you know what? I'm ready to really, just as an example, you don't have to do this. I'm ready to really lock you down. I think you're a great girl. I enjoy spending time with you. I think I'm ready to start telling people you're my girlfriend. And then, she's going to say whatever the hell she wants to, blah, blah. And then right after that, she sees you the next day on Snapchat with an entirely different girl. Same effect. Different execution, same effect. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Let's see. Women are easy to deal with. Just treat them like normal people. Don't. Treat them like... I don't even want to say that on TikTok. But no. Not normal people. I know what you mean by when you say normal people. That's why I say no, don't treat them like normal people. The only woman you should treat like a normal person, again, depending on your definition of normal person, is the hot ones. The hot women. Yeah, I think all men have envy. It's just whether you get motivated or mad about it. Literally, that's it. Most men get mad about it and hate me for whatever reason. And some men, hopefully you guys, are motivated by it. Like, I hope I'm inspiring guys. And I know I am. I know I'm inspiring some guys to be like, okay, now I know this is possible. I'm going to go for it. But most men don't have those balls, unfortunately. My last relationship was very bad. Should I take a break from dating or go all in? And how would you reverse the downward spiral? You want to go all in. You actually want to go all in. Like, don't get it twisted. I do believe in, self-reflection, taking out some time to understand what went wrong so you can know not to make that mistake again. But you can't allow yourself to stay in isolation for too long, because that's how the downward spiral accelerates. You have to go out there. You have to put yourself out there. You have to start talking to new girls immediately. Immediately. It's so important. I don't care how bad it ended. You need to start talking to new girls so that you can start teaching your brain that it's possible to come back from something like that. Very important. Let's see. You say that you can take a girl from them, or from them, okay. But how do you treat her? Would she worth a relationship eventually? I'm guessing is how you wanted to put that. You're still thinking like a simp, my friend. So, few things. I'm not the bad guy. Does that make sense? That's one. Two, neither is the girl. And this is even more important. The reason you asked that question is because you told yourself, if she can be taken, then she shouldn't be taken seriously. Which is not the case. At all. Just because she doesn't like you and she treats you like shit doesn't mean she'll do that to me. So, and by the way, almost every girl I'm with right now, I literally took from somebody else. Maybe it was not a boyfriend situation. Maybe it was an ex she was still hungover. Maybe it was some guy that she was talking to for a bit. Whatever. You're always going to take her from someone. Like, it's competition. Especially for the most desirable women. There's always fucking someone in there. Right? Does that make sense? On top of that, hold on. TikTok is asking me to verify that I'm still here. Yes, I'm here, TikTok. Don't bother me. On top of that, her choosing another guy over you doesn't make her bad either. That's her way of going, you're not my choice. You're not my first choice. That guy is better for me than you are. Does that make sense? So, you can't fault her for making that decision, for choosing me over the next man's. I did everything right. He did everything wrong. That's what's supposed to happen. Women have always wanted men with power, men with strength, men with authority. Men who can actually demonstrate power and be playful about it at the same time. Men who have finesse, men with social calibration. If I do all those things correctly and he doesn't, he deserves to get left. I don't feel sorry for him. Just because you might relate to him more doesn't mean shit either. Don't feel sorry for him. That's this kind of mindset here. That's the reason I made the Laws of the Game series. Because I don't care how badly you got hurt. If you do the wrong things, you will lose to a guy like me. Because I don't do the wrong things. Not anymore, that is. You know what I mean? So, yeah, don't worry about how she's treating me or how I'm treating her. Doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter. What's up, Don? How you doing, man? This kind of stuff only works with low emotional intelligent girls. Let me see what the high emotional intelligent girls you're dealing with are. I am Smash Nuggies. Go bring them to me. Let me see what they look like. Low emotional intelligence. First of all, and this is the beautiful part about that word doesn't exist. We just use it as a way to like point towards something that really doesn't even mean the same thing we're talking about. Emotional intelligence is not a real thing. You cannot be emotionally intelligent, but you can be emotionally disciplined. And if you know anything about women, which I do, they are not emotionally disciplined. None of them are. Almost none of them. You're never going to walk out in the streets and find a girl that's emotionally disciplined. Usually you have to teach them that trait, right? That's the first thing. Second thing, again, that's misogynistic. Like, that's the same mindset I was just correcting Dave about. It's that feeling of, oh, these women are bad and these women are good. You're bullshitting yourself. They're all the same fundamentally. It's biology, my friend. Women choose men based off of certain characteristics. If you don't have them, they're not choosing you. Trying to make yourself feel better by saying, she was bad anyway. That's pathetic. That's pathetic. Come on. That's goofy. I understand if a woman said that, because, women are trying to deceive men anyway. They're trying to throw men off the scent. But a grown man saying that? Come on. Come on. You're pathetic. And I'm not even just to me, to the women you're trying to protect here. Emotionally intelligent. Well, you think some girl is going to look at that comment and going to be like, oh, he thinks women like me are emotionally intelligent. No, you're going to be like, he doesn't get it. Women want better men, dude. Can they either deal with that or not? Do you think being direct to a woman is better than being indirect because it set you up to be played? I don't understand that last part about being set up to be played. I don't know what that has to do with being direct or indirect. With that said, though, if you're dealing with higher quality women, you want to be more indirect. You never want to be direct with women that are used to having people be direct with them. And that's the plight of highly desirable women. The moment you do or say anything that indicates any kind of direct telegraphing of interest to that kind of woman, you're done. Because you just shown her through your actions that you're just like every other guy that can't have the discipline to not blow their load immediately. Does that make sense? So, yeah, it depends on what kind of woman you want. If you just want a 7, sure, be direct. But even then, you still have to be careful. Like, if she's a 7 and you're an 8 and you're direct, you'll find success. If she's a 7 and you're a 9 or a 10, you're not going to find success. Because now she's going to be suspicious. It's like someone trying to give you a PlayStation 5 for free. Why, though? What's wrong with it? That's how you'd react, right? Same thing with her. A 10 being direct to a 7. Okay, let me be more realistic. An 8 or a 7 of a guy being direct towards a 4 or 5. Come on, no, not gonna work. So if anything, you can actually use that as a way to measure your own attractiveness in women's eyes. If you go up to a girl that you yourself think is a 6, and you are as direct as possible, and she's going for it, bro, you're not all that. You're not all that. You don't have the level of confidence you think you do. You don't. Let's see. Do you think one should avoid logical conversation during a date and only be playful? It should be mostly playful. There's room for logic here and there, but it should be mostly playful. You shouldn't avoid it per se, right? Like, okay, hold on. Let's start with this. What do you define as logical conversation? Let's start with there. Tell me, what do you define as logical conversation? Motion of the ocean for real, doing hip thrusts and what's RDLS? To the hip force to make up for it for real. Oh yeah. I mean, I think I know what you mean. Like exercising the hips in general, sure. I do that with jiu-jitsu anyway, so same difference. Is it true that women want to sleep with are different from the ones they want to date? They're not. Again, I'm happy you asked that question too. They really are not. It's the same women. The difference is men think they're different. Like the same woman that some men disqualify as, oh, you're just a bop. There's a man out there that woman will make very happy, and vice versa. So it's about how you're presenting yourself to these women, and how they're presenting themselves to you. Does that make sense? They're not different. They're not fundamentally. Just find one that's hot and listens to you. Everything else will fall into place. That's really what it is. Don't overcomplicate it. Back in just listening and working out now. Bet. Welcome back, John. My side girl left me for another guy. What should I do next? DM her in a month. If she's with that other guy and they're in the honeymoon phase, don't even think about bothering her for another 3 to 4 months. Because they're in the honeymoon phase. It's very hard to seduce a woman that's already fulfilled. Right? It's almost impossible, really. So if she left you for that guy is important. That means you lost. That means he's him and you're not. So, wait it out a little bit so she can come down from that high and then you can strike. You literally motivated me to go to the gym, gain a little muscle, lose 10 kilos going out. I'm happy about that. Thanks, Dave. And you didn't do that for me. You did that for you. I'm happy you did that for you. I'm happy you made that decision for yourself. I'm happy you're actually going out there, taking risks, being disciplined about it. Thank you. I'm in shape and good looking, but still, how should you approach women without seeming creepy, it's different in the UK to the US. No, it's not. I've been in both places. Don't forget. What, you gonna lie to me? No, it's not. It's different. The women in the US are definitely a little more what's the word I'm looking for? Extroverted, right? That's fair. But the principle of the game still remains the same. It really does. You're not doing anything much differently than what we're doing here in the US, right? That's the first thing. Second thing, and this is even more important, the creepiest thing you can do is worry about being creepy. The neediest thing you can do is worry about being needy. That's what's making you creepy, is you worrying that you're creepy. If you just do what you want to do and don't worry about whether you're being creepy or not, you will have the natural confidence to shine through, and then nothing you do will be creepy. It's because you're worrying about being creepy that you're creepy. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay? Do I keep tension while disqualifying, or should I take turns? You create tension whenever you disqualify. Those two things are not mutually exclusive when it comes to game. Whenever you disqualify a woman, tension is already created. What are you talking about? Actually, it's me that I'm taking some girls from others. This never happened before, only after following your advice and train. Good. Okay. That's fair. Good. Yeah, words are a bad way to communicate. And I probably just read it as, you're one of those type of people. But I'm happy you're not. Would you say the protector versus provider thing is essentially the frequency of giving out disqualification versus validation oversimplified? You can definitely look at it like that. You can look at it like protectors disqualify women more than providers do. Absolutely. To simplify it even further. Fuck the validation part. Protectors usually, it's really just a character trait they have. It's not why they are the way they are. Protectors, I mean. But when you are a protector, when you're that selfish in your thinking, when you look out for yourself and your loved ones primarily, and you're not really, you don't care about the feelings or emotions of others, and you're a little more selfish about life, right? Then you will naturally be disagreeable. And because you're naturally disagreeable, you're going to disqualify others a lot more often. You're not going to see a problem with risking offending other people. It's a character trait. It's not everything they are. It's not why they're the way they are. But it's a very good indicator of who they are, for sure. Love that mindset. Could you explain what girls mean by emotional intelligence? So all women really mean by emotional intelligence is the ability to understand complex emotions on an intellectual level. That's what they mean. That's really what so the word they're looking for isn't even emotional intelligence. It's another word. I can't remember what the word means. It's this weird Greek word or something. But that's what they mean when they say emotional intelligence. It's like, oh, he can understand my emotions. And by the way, they're only doing it for their own selfish reasons, by the way. Just so we're clear. Everything a woman does is to some degree very selfish. They don't want emotionally intelligent men because it turns them on. They want emotionally intelligent men because they can finally have someone that understands the emotions they feel. That's it. That is it. They want to feel heard. They want to feel understood. And they'd rather do that with a man that can give them those things. Simple as that. Is being in direct work with older women or better to direct? I know what you mean by that, but it's not about how old or young she is. It's about how much self-esteem she has, how beautiful she is. That's like whether you're dealing with an older or younger woman. And by the way, let's talk about that. People always talk about this like, oh, she's an older woman. She doesn't have time for games. That is a lie. Women of that age, older women, propagate to make themselves seem more desirable than younger women. In my experience, like real hardcore experience, they're just as goofy, right? Like and of course they are. They're women. They want emotion and the feeling of emotional spikes just as much as younger women do. They probably thirst over it even more because it's not something that they're used to at their older age. Right? A 35-year-old woman isn't going through the same kind of drama on an emotional level with the relationship she's having as she did when she was 22. Does that make sense? Especially since she's already desensitized to a lot of those emotions by the time she's 35. So you almost need heavier emotional spikes and impact to affect older women. Which is why, no, especially if she's beautiful, do not be fucking direct. It's a waste of your time. Don't do that. Immediately she's gonna relegate to you to the this is just a young guy trying to get some. Like, don't do that. Do not do that. You're gonna be surprised how mean and brutal that trap can be. We rate women physically, and it's sort of a standard. How do you rate men? Security and congruence? Literally. I rate men primarily by level of confidence and arrogance. Because a man's confidence equates to a woman's beauty. That's the exchange rate. Right? I don't need usually I don't need to look at what a man's woman looks like. I can tell if your girlfriend is hot or not just by the way you talk. That's all I need to see. Arrogant guys get the baddest bitches every time. Essentially, guys that talk like me. If you're a guy and he talks like me, probably got bad bitches. First time I ever heard Andrew Tate years ago, I'm like, this guy's bitches must be bad as fuck. Like, I was like, yeah, this guy he pulls. He definitely pulls. Every guy with bad bitch, that's what they sound like. And then the guys who don't sound like that, Mr. What's his name? Mr. Nuggies, I can already tell what kind of girls he's messing with. The green-haired bangs types, That's just how it works, literally. It's a confidence thing. Confidence in the same ratio to beauty. Let's see. I saw a video of women saying they prefer dad bods because it makes them more comfortable. All those women are women you don't want anyway. Don't worry about it. I completely always scroll away from those type of videos. Again, just do this on social media. I promise you'll see a pattern. There's a reason the baddest girls talk a certain way and the other girls don't talk that same way. You've never seen an actual baddie say something about dad bods. It's never happened. And I dare you to find me one. And if at all you do find one, I bet you she used to be fat. I bet you anything. Right? Because at that point, her psychology hasn't caught up to her physiology. But yeah, it doesn't exist. The most feminine, the most beautiful, the most desirable women want the most desirable men. Simple as that. And as far as desirability goes, like I was just saying before, it comes down to your level of arrogance. It comes down to your level of belief in yourself. And when you have that belief in yourself, guess what naturally happens? You tend to have a great deal of discipline about you, which means no dad bod. That's simple. No dad bod. You gotta, again, don't forget what women are. The way they see attractiveness and attractive traits is very different than the way we perceive them. When we look at a chick that's big, all we see is the lack of figure 8, I mean. The lack of sex appeal. That's all we see. It's like, right? Ew, gross. When a woman looks like at a big dude, and that's not big in the right way, she sees a lack of discipline. She's looking deeper than just the way it looks. She's looking at what it means. Ew. Why does he look like that? Is he proud of himself coming out in public looking like that? Where's his discipline? Where's his perseverance? Where's his threshold for pain? That's what they're seeing. Right? So whenever you see a woman go, oh, I like dead bots, I'm like, I look at those women, I'm like, of course you do. You have to like dead bots. Because those are the only kind of guys that can be in a relationship with you believably. It's not going to be me, though. I'm not saying big girls don't need love. They do. Just not for me. That's all I'm saying. Let's see. By logic, I mean talking about work, school, hobbies. Oh, okay. So that's not even logic. That's just that's just mundane. It's not even real actual. So yeah, if you're gonna talk about, you can talk about it, but especially your hobbies. You should be talking about your hobbies. But the reason you want to talk about your hobbies is the same reason you can talk about school and work, which is there should be a level of passion involved in it. There should be a level of, you should learn how to talk about these things in an emotional way. Does that make sense? Every time you talk to a woman, be mindful of how you make her feel, not what you make her think. Don't worry about what she's thinking. Worry about how she's feeling. So even if I'm talking about school, I'll find a way to talk about it that makes her feel something. Anything, positive, negative, doesn't matter. But makes her feel something. Does that make sense? Yeah. What's up, Jace? Always feels good to be in your life. Sure, man. Welcome back, Abid. Reverse deadlift or rear deadlift? I don't even know, the different deadlifts. I'm not a lifter. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. Now, if you ask me, omoplata or gogoplata? Now, that's a question I would be willing to answer. Which, by the way, gogoplata. Duh. That's way easier for the kill. It's harder to set up, to be honest. Much harder to set up. But Gogo Plata, for sure. If you haven't escalated during the first date because of logistics, is it too late to try at the second date? No. No, if the this is one thing my mentor will always say. Logistics beat game. It's the only thing that can beat game. It's the only scissors to game's paper, right? It doesn't matter how much you like her, how much she likes you back. If the logistics don't line up correctly, nothing will happen. So logistics beat game, guys. Which is why a part of game is managing logistics. So yeah, if the logistics just happen and fall through last minute, that's fine. Set it up again. The attraction is still there. Go for it. Now, if you're saying you never created any attraction at all in the first date, you will probably never hear from that girl again. But as long as there was some minimum level of attraction, some curiosity they could have created about you, you'll see her again. You'll be fine. Remaining deadlifts. Let's see. Or she already sees you as a nice guy. I mean, yeah, you got to be worried about that if you didn't spike any emotions in the first date. If you genuinely did not spike any emotions at all, then you're never going to see her again. Absolutely. I had this 8 I was talking with, and a 2 came up and talked to me after that. The 8 never spoke to me again. The 2 was a friend. Ew. Yeah, that makes sense. The 8 felt like you were insulting her by talking to her the same way you were talking to the 2. Did you make it clear that the 8 that the 2 was your friend? Could you have been like, hey, listen, by the way, this is a friend of mine. This is so and so, this is so and so. You guys, be friendly. Don't kill each other just yet. I know I'm handsome. Everyone wants me, but make jokes, introduce them to each other, and then send the 2 on her way. Hey, listen, I'm trying to get to know so and so here. We'll talk later, bestie. Send her on the way. If she even feels like, because you got put yourself in her position. That's an insult to her. You know what I mean? Like, you're messing with that level of bitch, and you want to come up to me? Ew, gross. Out of here. So, yeah, don't do that again. Why do you even have 2 friends? What are they useful for? True love. Like, do I believe in it? Absolutely. I believe in true love. I just think there's a formula to it. It's not that I don't believe in true love. True love exists. I'm definitely truly in love with quite a few women. But there's a way to get to true love. True love, in my opinion, is when you get the perfect deal. Because if you look at relationships like a transaction, then the best transaction is what? When you get the most value for as little money in return. Right? Same thing with relationships. Both parties, and this is why dating apps are difficult. And this is why, at some point I feel like I got to create my own dating app. Because I want to really get into like the science of that. How do you match people? The reason why all dating apps to some degree suck is because no one has figured out the algorithm, the formula for getting 2 people together in a way where both people feel like they're winning. Usually, if the girl feels like she's winning, the guy feels like he's losing. If the girl feels like she's losing, the guy feels like he's winning. So it's a catch-22 there. The best relationships are the ones where the guy feels like he's winning, the girl feels like she's winning. Right? If there's not a win for both of them, it won't exist. It will not exist. So true love is essentially what happens when both people feel like the other person is a win. And again, this is why it's tricky. There's a lot of things that go into that. Usually, the girl has to be attractive to a certain degree. And the girl's attractiveness is more important than the guy's attractiveness. But then the guy's confidence has to match, which will actually happen naturally, honestly, if the girl is attractive enough and she likes the guy, because the only way she can like that guy is if his confidence matches anyway. But then there's, on top of that, the logistics around it. So what kind of relationships does the guy like? What kind of relationships does the woman like? How do they fit in with each other in terms of like the compliance levels, the sexual chemistry especially, stuff like that. So yeah, it can happen. It's just there's a few steps that need to happen before true love happens. Does that make sense? I was in love with a woman with relationship trauma. The guy left her. Should I have been direct with my interests? Your level of directness or indirectness wouldn't even matter in that situation. Like, you're asking the wrong question. Okay, first of all, how do you know about her relationship trauma if she doesn't have a clue whether you're interested in her or not? That means you're out here making friends with bitches. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? But if you're actually in a relationship with a woman, that's one thing. But you're saying you were dealing with her, and then you are still asking if you should have been direct or indirect with your interest? What does that mean? That means you were friends with her. Why were you friends with her? Why did you allow yourself to be an emotional tampon? See how I caught you there? Could I buy her raisin bread on the first date? What about black British guys? So are you saying girls are submissive? There's so many different things that have nothing to do with each other. Black British guys aren't more special than any other British guys or any other black guys. That's the first thing. Second thing, raisin bread sounds delicious. You can buy her that. Why not? Tell her to buy the next round for you, though. Girls are submissive. Yes, that's a natural nature. That is a natural thing. Ever met a girl who is more emotional, resistant to your skills? Yes. Yes, I have. That'll usually happen under a few circumstances. One, birth control. Whenever you have a girl that has no need to have a consequence around you having sex with her, usually she's on birth control. The reason women become super invested and attached after you have sex, the reason there's a massive change in the relationship after that point, is because of the biological and evolutionary consequences that surround sex. That's why that investment happens. When birth control is put into the equation, that consequence kind of goes away. Now, the irony is, a few of my bitches on birth control, obviously, but it just depends on how she specifically responds to it hormonally. Again, go and do your research on this. There's girls out there, and a lot of girls actually, that'll claim that depending on the kind of birth control they're on, they completely change their preference in men. I've heard so many nightmare stories from women on Reddit where they talk about how, they were on birth control, they liked the guy, they thought he was the best thing ever. He's probably some like super feminine, slender kind of guy, a guy that kind of looks like Harry Styles or something. And then eventually they get married, and it's like, okay, time to get off birth control. I'm ready to have this guy's kid. And then she gets off birth control, and now she can't stand the guy. Do your fucking research on this. It's fucking hilarious. I love it so much. This is a curse from God for trying to play God. It's so funny. They literally got off birth control and realized everything they liked in the guy this whole time was because of that massive change in hormonal balance that comes with being on birth control. And now that they're off it, they want nothing to do with their husband. They want nothing to do with their husbands anymore. It's so funny. So yeah, that's definitely a thing. That's interesting though. Very interesting to me. Is it a good opening line or qualifier, to tell a woman she looks like she'd secretly be apparently, that doesn't allow the word evil, really? But yeah, I've literally used a line like that. Like, I literally tell girls, you know what? Your eyes look like you'd probably unalive me in my sleep. I got to be careful with you. You're a dangerous one. So yeah, that's a good opener. That's a good line. Facts, indeed. By congruence, you mean disagreeability. Disagreeability is a symptom of congruence, right? Like when you are aligned completely in yourself, heart, soul, mind, body, spirit, then naturally you'll be disagreeable to the things that try to move you out of alignment. But disagreeability and congruence are not exactly the same thing. Disagreeability is a symptom of congruence, right? Just to keep that in mind. Just finish the homework in Insta DMs. Excellent. Let me see your. I'll check it out after the live. I've seen a couple of fat dudes pull hella baddies though. Absolutely, it's very possible. I'm just telling you why those anomalies exist. Go and do research into that baddie herself. See what she was looking like a few years before that point. That's one. Two, it might be the fact the guy himself, took care of himself and then let himself go over time. That's also possible. It could also be, for whatever reason, because of her past experience, she just has really low self-esteem despite the fact that she might look a certain way. And don't forget, again, what we're looking for is the level of self-esteem and the level of discipline. There's a lot of 22-year-old women that are very hot that don't really count because it's easy for them to be hot. Does that make sense? Like, a lot of very low self-esteem 22-year-old chicks, because their metabolism is doing the heavy lifting for them. I'm talking about women that had to, like, do a lot to maintain what they are. Does that make sense? So yeah, anomalies exist. Don't get it twisted. They definitely exist. It's just they won't last long for sure. Also, what are some other openers or qualifiers you use? Interview like course, it's all in there. I have a fucking guide you download from there. Omoplata is a way higher percentage move. Yes, it is. It's definitely, you're right. That's why I was saying the Gogoplata is way harder to set up. But I've come to find if you pretend like you're going for a triangle, you can hit the Gogoplata a little earlier. Because the things they have to do to defend against the triangle usually puts them in better position for the Gogoplata. Well, at least for me. My legs are super long. So, yeah. Don't get it twisted. Omoplata is still the higher percentage move. But I like Gogoplatas. Gogoplata for the win! Can you clean your glasses for me? No, fuck you. Some people say you can't be in love. Hold on, let me smudge them a little bit more. Some people say you can't be in love with multiple people. What do you think? They love their parents, don't they? Love is not a scarce thing. Love, in fact, was designed to be free, right? But people try to hold on to everything, and that's why their lives are miserable. They should think a little more abundantly about love, especially about love and about money if they can. But if they have both parents in their lives, they probably love both. So why they gotta choose one? Stop it. Stop it. Dating apps are designed to keep you doing, not to make matches. Yeah, that's some truth to that. At least the shitty ones anyway. Which I guess most of them are. How do you deal with girls that are too sensitive? For me personally, I don't. Not anymore. I can't really deal with that. The kind of guy I am, the kind of level of anxiety I produce out of my relationships, the level of danger I represent to these women, nah, I can't. But if you need to deal with sensitive women, then it's really just how much reassurance you can give them. That's why they're so sensitive, is they can't handle anxiety. So you have to do things to calm the anxiety down. The problem with doing that, obviously, is anxiety is the close cousin of attraction. So if you completely remove the anxiety, you remove the attraction, she gets too comfortable, relationship over. So pick your poison. Do with that what you must. Would you move in with a female friend? We'll have our own room and bathroom. When you say female friend, what do you mean by that? How do you avoid making women being comfortable with just talking and not meeting, by not talking before the date? How do you avoid making women being comfortable with just talking and not meeting? Well, I think I know what you mean, but in general, it's like, make your time scarce, make your attention scarce. The reason she feels comfortable not going on a date with you is because you're telling her too much about yourself over the phone. Stop doing that. And every time she tries to talk to you again, ask her for her schedule. Ask her, what are you up to? When are you free? So we can meet up. If she keeps pushing back on that, remove your time and attention again, and do it as many times as you need to till she gets the point. Till she understands, oh, I can't talk to this guy unless I see him in person. Yeah, she'll get it. Have been implementing your advice for the past 6 months, and you for real do not miss. I know. I appreciate you for actually implementing, though. You know. I bet now you understand why I talk so arrogantly about what I say and how I do things. Because I know it's going to work. You just got to do it. And that's kind of where I'm fighting with a lot of people. Don't call me anything. Don't call me names. Don't try to paint me in a corner or anything. I don't care. Do what I say. If you do it, it will work. I know that sounds arrogant as hell, but when you do it and it starts working, you'll know why I sound like this. Like user 186. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy I actually did that. I'm very happy you did. Most men are lazy as fuck and don't. So congratulations to you. Would you move in with a female friend? We'll have already answered that question. And the answer to that question is, what do you mean by female friend? Is it a woman that is your friend? Or is it like a woman that is your friend? Like, so what does that mean? I've read birth control makes them like more feminine guys. Essentially. Especially the hormonal birth controls. The pill and the shots makes them like feminine dudes. Because you got to understand what birth control does to the body. Birth control essentially tricks her body that she's pregnant, which is why, they're not producing eggs at the same rate anymore. So birth control essentially tells their body, oh, you're pregnant now. There's no need to pass an egg through the uterus because you're already with child. You're already fertilized. The problem with that is that when a woman is pregnant, the kind of traits she's looking for in a man is very different than when she's not pregnant. When she's not pregnant, she's looking for the superior gene pool, as in men who demonstrate certain behavioral traits when she's not pregnant. When she has gotten pregnant, now she's looking for the exact opposite guy. The guy who will stick around and take care of her in that vulnerable state that is pregnancy and will help her see her pregnancy to term. And hopefully stick around after the pregnancy has reached its term and the baby's given birth to. So, her entire biology is telling her she should be looking for a guy to take care of her while she's pregnant now, even though she's not. Right? So, I don't even count women on birth control as women. I really don't. Usually. Not all the time, usually. Right? It depends on the kind of birth control. And no, not all birth control, right? But it depends on the kind of birth control, especially the hormonal ones. The hormonal birth controls, those are like... And it's just terrible too, right? Anything you do that fucks with your hormones, usually bad. Because then your body usually doesn't have the ability to produce those hormones properly anymore. So it's not good for them. And, a lot of women, for whatever reason, think it's a good idea to be on those things. But yeah, these are the risks they're taking out here and how it's affecting their lives. Stop trying to play God, people. I'm guessing if you're a protector type, you don't got to worry about birth control working against you. Well, if you're a protector type and she's on hormonal birth control that makes her want to prefer feminine guys, then you probably only have a small window to make her get attached to you. Does that make sense? Like, think about it like this. There's an ovulation cycle every month. And during that ovulation cycle, there's a part where the egg is the closest to the exit. Let's just call it that. And that is when she's most fertile. And that is when she is seeking a man that can fertilize that egg the most. Which is why she's probably looking for the man with the most masculine protective traits. Right? Okay, cool. Now, aside from that 1 week window, the rest of the 3 weeks, especially one of those 3 weeks, which is the period cycle, the week after that, she's looking for or would prefer more traits that are the opposite. Whether she's on birth control or not, by the way. So, the idea is to make enough impact during your cycle as a protector ovulation cycle so that the investment carries you through the other months. The other weeks, I mean. Does that make sense? The same thing applies to birth control. Same thing applies. It's just that the window for you when you're a protector type and she's on birth control is shorter. It's a whole thing. I'll have to make a video about this, I think. I think I'll just have to make a video about it. If you got a better looking girl, would she want you back? Like if you lost your girl, you got a better looking girl, would she want you back? Is that why she left in the first place? If the reason she left in the first place was she felt like you can't replace her and she got too comfortable, sure, she probably will. If the reason she left is entirely different, probably not. Sorry. Would you move in with a female friend? Or I didn't answer. Hold on. What is the difference between black British males and black American males? Nothing but the accent. It's just I think there are a lot more chill and cool British dudes though, to be honest. I think by far Britain has a lot more chill, cool dudes. But I think it's more of a cultural thing than a personality thing. American dudes can be a little too energetic, a little too hyper. But that's about it. How many girls have ever done you dirty? Oh, you've been with? Oh, a lot. I don't know. I haven't counted them, but a lot. A lot more than you. I'll tell you right now. Damn, I missed the answer to my question. I'm still at work. Aw. Ask it again. I'm asking because I just set up a date for Friday in 2 weeks, but she said she wants to talk until. Make sure it's sparingly, like every 3 days or so, till you get to the date point. Like, don't Don't speak unnecessarily. If anything, you should be really doing your best to not talk too much. You wanna wait till that day and then see her and do all the talking then. Um, I've heard you talk about the interview light course a couple times, but I've never seen it. It's in my link in the bio. Link in the bio. Go in. There's a button there that says my personal dating system. Click on that. You'll see it. You will see it. My personal dating system. Is that what I call it? Whatever the hell I call it. It's there. I promise. um, let's see. Oh, you guys are just talking to yourself at this point. How do you pick up a girl in school? She already knows what you're like, so how would you go about it? So you're not, in that case, it's not cold approach, it's warm approach. You already have an excuse. So go up and just talk to her and be like, listen, you should give me your phone number, I don't have it. At that point, it wouldn't even be awkward that you're asking for that. So if at all you ask for the number and she goes, why do you want my number? Then that means you have a shit reputation. That's your fault. It should feel natural for her to give you her phone number. Because she knows what you're like, right? Right? Okay then. Is your presence alone tension if you're physically intimidating? Yes, absolutely. If you're physically intimidating, absolutely. Your presence is definitely tension. Can Jace beat two men in the fight? It depends on how much training they have, I would say. It depends. How trained are they? If they're beginners and they're either around my weight or smaller, then sure, I'll fuck them up. If they're both bigger than me, that becomes a little harder. Much harder. If they're both experienced to even any degree, it becomes significantly harder. If they're both smaller than me with no experience, destroy them. That wouldn't be too hard because they wouldn't have enough experience to know how to use their numbers against them. Not to mention, even if they could, they wouldn't know how to throw proper technique. Wait, is the interview life course free? No, it is not. I wouldn't put a dating system out there for free. I did for a while though in the beginning, but that changed very quickly. How did you develop such a logical perspective on women? I've always been logical, to be honest. I call myself Jace the Pickup Scientist because I've always been a scientist. One of my first mentors was when I was 12 years old, and he was the one that introduced me to the wonders of science back in Nigeria. And he was the one that gave me the philosophy, his personal philosophy of science, like evidence-based thinking, but also understanding not to be mad about the situation, like how to remove your emotion from, your findings. If all you do is learn the information and then feel something about it, then you're essentially a woman. What you should do is learn the information, observe it, contemplate it, experiment with it, but then use the information to better you and your experience somehow. It's not something that you should be feeling one way or the other about. Just know it and don't take it personal. That's really what it comes down to. Let's see. What is the most important thing the game has taught you? That's a very broad question. What is the most important? There's a few things, but off the top of my head, I would say be comfortable in anxiety. I would say that's probably the biggest one. Well, not the biggest one, but definitely top 10 one of the biggest ones for sure. Be comfortable in anxiety. Be comfortable in it. Not everything is going to go your way. And especially if you're me and you got into the game because you thought it would be... Because when I got into the game, I was just like you guys, I thought to myself, it'll either be a way to find my future wife, or it'll be a way to finally have the ultimate control over women. And the irony of the game is you get into it because you want control, but then it teaches you that the best way to have control is to let it go. Right? Do your best, do what you can, control what it is you have within your control. But then at some point, it's a bunch of stuff you can't control, and you just have to be okay with that. That's what game teaches you. Game teaches you, like, in many ways, dealing with women teaches you how to be more zen than a monk. It really does. Because all monks got to be distracted by is, the grasshopper on their shoulder, the wind blowing in their head. But when you're dealing with a woman, you're dealing with a creature that is willing to do whatever it takes to make you feel certain emotion. That's a lot harder to deal with. So, game teaches you to be okay in the center of that anxiety that they give you. And everything that they do does to give you that anxiety, you know? So, yeah. So how would you be able to use it to your advantage? Everything I'm teaching you. Literally. That's why I'm here. That's what I teach. That's what I do. That's why I do what I do. Is how to use all this information to your advantage. That's what it's for. Bro, is there a way to download Self-Belief and the Interview Lite to my computer? I don't know. Is there a way to do that? I don't know. I don't think so. But it is something I have been thinking about, to be honest. I'll look into that, though. I'll look into that. Because I want you guys to be able to have that forever, you know? That's important to me. What martial art did you train? Karate when I was younger, then a lot of Taekwondo, then my dad taught me boxing, and I quickly transitioned into kickboxing because I like to kick, and now I'm doing jiu-jitsu and MMA, obviously. I clicked on it and it said something like it was free until a certain time. Is it even linked properly? I gotta look into that. I don't know what's going on there. I'll figure that out later. Remind me after the live. I'll figure that out later. The Interview Lite. So I can save them in my UBS memory stick. Yeah, I'll figure that out for you. Let's see. Have Ali been back since last week? How did you know about Ali? Oh, that Ali. Oh, I don't even know. I have no idea. The short Mexican chick we were talking to the other day on our last episode of Goofy Bitches. I don't even know. I can't fix my rep in class because of this guy. He tried to test my patience when I joined school, and I'm trying to use her to hate the guy so I can save up my rep and make other people beat him for me. All these dreams of grandiose you have will not work out, my friend. I promise you. That guy in question probably isn't even thinking as much about you as you are about him. Besides, the best way to fix your rep isn't to make someone else bad or disparage someone else. The best way to fix your rep is to be a fucking good person to other people. It's to be someone that adds value and makes people feel good. Right? That's how you fix your rep. You do it for over a long period enough time and it'll be fixed. You said this the other day, open a TikTok store to make a serious money. What top 3 things would you sell? Probably that Guru Nanda thing. I mean, you can sell those things that are already selling, but knowing me, and I'm talking about me here because this is what I did when I was doing dropshipping. I prefer to find my own winning products, and I'm very good at it. So I would probably sell, because I saw this on there, the massage gun. And in fact, that's something I'm actually considering doing on my channel right now. I really don't want to sell out like that, but if I had to sell something on my channel, that's probably what I would do. The massage gun. And I know exactly how I would sell it. I got too many bitches not to know how. Does that make sense? So, yeah. I would say either sell something that's already popping or find your own unique way to sell something that no one else knows about yet. That's what I would do. Looking like which version of Will I Am? I don't really look like Will I Am like that, to be honest. I look more like Kofi Kingston. If you said Kofi Kingston, it would have been funnier. Also, when I click on the PDF, it just takes me to the Samcar website, not your course. Really? I gotta go look into that. Oh, don't worry, I'll fix that. Don't worry. Is the Interview Lite on YouTube? Absolutely not. That's what I thought. I want to have your courses in my USB memory stick forever. Absolutely, me too. I do too. We're gonna see you in the UFC anytime soon. Probably not the UFC. I did think of a route to that. I did think. Let me run this idea by you, because I saw Sneeko got beat up by Sean Strickland, which by the way was very pussy of him. Why is he going that hard on a kid that doesn't even know how to fight? That's weird. If I challenge Sean Strickland in his gym and I fuck him up, because I think I got his number. That sounds ridiculous to someone that doesn't know about my history, but I can beat Sean Strickland. It would not be easy. I'm not gonna sit here and say it would be easy. That guy's a fucking tank. But if I beat Sean Strickland, you think Dana will give me a contract? Do you think Dana will give me a contract? I'm very curious. I'm very curious. Is your game fundamentals course still on YouTube? No. It's is it a self-belief? I think it's a self. Is it? No, I think I put it in the interview light now. Yeah, I think I put it in the interview light. The self-belief course, the more you look at it, the more it becomes your beliefs, right? Literally. Like reading a book 10 times better than reading it once. Absolutely. That is why I advise you guys to go over my courses and all my content more than once. Even my regular videos. It's not even about like what I gained in the back. Don't worry. TikTok only counts the view as one if you're the same person viewing it one time or 100 times. So you're fine. But go over what I say over and over and over again. You want it to be seeped in here as much as possible. Have you decided if you're going to go to Afro Nation? Probably not. I wish I had the time for that, but the way my things are looking now, I won't have time to just have fun like that. Not anytime soon. Instead of massage gun, you should sell the blue pill with your courses because they're going to need it. That's funny. That's funny. Which is funny because, like, you know, sell the solution, create the problem at the same time. How long does it take to go from beginner to advancing game? It depends on how willing and how often you are to practice your game. You know, it's different for everybody depending on how many times you want to show up and practice. It's like asking how do you go from white belt to blue belt in jiu-jitsu? How often are you on the mats? Because I know people that got their blue belt in literally 3 months. I know people that had to wait 5 years for it. You know, so how often do you want to train? That's it. He probably will give me a contract. You think so? Keep that in mind. If you make the challenge to Sean go viral, it would. I feel like I gotta do something before that though to at least get him to take me seriously enough. Because if I do that now, just like who's this random fucker on TikTok, right? But if I do something to really show myself first, and then I go, hey, Sean Strickland, you're a bitch, then it would, you know, there'd be weight behind it. I think there'd be some weight behind it. And if that varies too much, how long do you think it would take me based on the questions I've asked you so far? The questions you've asked me so far are cool, but I'd still rather want to see you practice. Does that make sense? So far, you're just a theory junkie. You got to start practicing the game for real. Then, I'll start being like, and practice a lot. Because the questions you're asking are very good. Don't get it twisted. But they also tell me you're only talking to maybe 1 or 2 girls at a time right now. Go increase that number significantly. Then we can start talking. Oh yeah, I sent you an update. Even got a response. Ooh! That's what I want to hear. I love that. All right, I'll check that out after. I got so many. Hold on. I got to start writing things down, guys. The interview light course. What else did I... Hold on. Got my trusty laptop with me. Interview light course is acting crazy. I'll go to WordPad. Okay. Right hand. Interview light course. What else? K. And what else? What else am I looking out for? There we go. There we go. All right. I think I got everything covered. Should be able to look out for all that. Let's see. The rest of the class hates my guts, though. I managed to recover it a little bit, but I ain't friends with them because I don't like them, and their jokes are ish. Ooh, sounds like you're easy to hate, my friend. There's no way that many people are wrong about you. There's no way, right, Abid? So you're probably insufferable. You're probably fucking annoying. Which, I mean, by the way, I was the same way in high school. Didn't help me, you know? You're probably fucking annoying. Go fix that. The cool popular guy is cool and popular for a reason. Right? And it's not like you see in the movies. It's not like the meanest guys. Literally, the guy I remember from my class, I'm not going to say his real name, but he was like the biggest, tallest guy in my class. All the girls wanted him. He was so cool, so chill. And again, that was it though. He wasn't a bully at all. He was the coolest motherfucker, even till this day, one of the coolest people I've ever met in my life. So the people that are popular for a reason. Don't deceive yourself about that. If you're not likable, you can't be surprised that your relationship, your reputation is taking a hit. You know? You might have to go to Conor McGregor route. Yeah, I got to talk a lot of shit. I already know that about myself. If I'm going to be in the UFC, I'm already starting out really late in the game for me, right? So I'm going to have to get really good at selling fights, which I think I can. Is it good if you post in your IG stories your progress in gym or something else? You can do that. You kind of risk being seen as unidimensional. So if you want to be multidimensional, post other things about your life too, not just the gym. You don't want to be just the gym bro. You want to be the gym bro that does other cool stuff. Plays violin, has a cool dog he likes to spend time with, goes on cool dates, likes to wear cool clothes because he's into fashion, speaks about subjects he likes to cook cool food, whatever. Like, have other parts and other aspects to your personality. Don't just be the gym bro, okay? There's a character, my bad, in Pokemon TV series with your hair. Can't remember the name now. Which one? I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I've ever watched a full episode of a single Pokemon TV series episode. I don't think I ever have. I know the theme song and all that, but I've only ever played the game. That's my thing. I'm a Pokemon gamer guy. Let's talk about resistance and non-reactive behavior from girls, like not asking questions, not laughing, short responses. That's normal, especially if you're dealing with hot chicks. There's something called the hot girl blase. That's very normal. They will do that within the first, 2 to 5 minutes of a conversation. If you keep just spitting your game, eventually they'll join in on the phone with you. Don't worry about it. That's normal. That's very normal. Why Strickland? Again, to me, him, I sometimes I just want to cut weight like a madman and go down to lightweight, which will be very difficult for me. But of all the fighters in the UFC right now that are very popular, that have eyes on them, him and Khamzat, in my opinion, are the easiest for me to deal with my style anyway. Him, Khamzat, I'll take Ian Gary. Ian Gary would be the hardest, ironically, for me, of all those guys. But I'll take Ian Gary too. I'll take him too. Who else can I mean, the other guys don't have any eyes on him, right? Like, I can go, I'm gonna go fight, what's his name? Calvin Carter or Jeff Neal. Who cares? No one cares about that. I can go fight Derek Bronson. No one cares about him. Of all the guys that have attention on them, I can fuck up those guys. That's my confidence. Again, none of these fights are gonna be easy. I'm gonna get hurt bad, but I just feel like I know their number. I know how to get them. Like, especially Sean Strickland. Everyone keeps playing him at his game and losing. I'm not gonna do that. Let me not brag too much, but yeah, I think I can beat him. Let's see. Okay, there we go. The two-man thing you mentioned needs another person. Is there some solo dark game? Yes. Later. Been talking to like 5 to 6 girls consistently. Really focusing on practice right now. Still doesn't feel like enough, though. Gotta up that. You do indeed have to up that. How often do you read your Bible? Almost every day, honestly. I'm currently rereading the book of Ecclesiastes. That's a fun book too. I love that book. I call it the Goth Solomon, because the King Solomon, David's son, the one that had 300 wives and 700 concubines, he wrote 3 books in his lifetime that are in the Bible. The Songs of Solomon, which is the porn book of the Bible. That was pretty much all the poems he wrote to like be a simp for women. It was very funny, talking about his sexual exploits, all that stuff. And then he wrote the Book of Proverbs, which is a really cool life guide on how to move through the world. And then in his old age before he died, he wrote Ecclesiastes, and that is one of the most depressing books in the Bible. Like, it's so funny because it's like, bro lived an amazing life, and then it's like, it's all vanity, it's all bullshit, and then he became a goth lord and wrote Ecclesiastes. It's so funny. So yeah, I'm rereading that. It's so depressing, but it's so funny. He's quite the fucking philosopher, though. Don't forget the downloads. Oh, that's the one. The downloads. That was it. I gotta figure out. I wrote something else entirely too. Notepad. Okay. How to download courses from Sam Card. All right. There we go. All right. Thank you. How to manage a toxic relationship when your girl has so much insecurities. Sounds like you need to get another girl, my friend. Why are you dealing with a girl that doesn't feel like she deserves you to some degree? It just lets me know you're dealing with a girl that you can do better than. And she knows it, which is why she's so insecure. Why are you dealing with a girl with such low self-esteem, my friend? Why? It's a lot of suffering you're putting yourself through, and for what? For what? Go get a hotter girl with better self-esteem. If you want to suffer on with this girl, you can, but it will require you giving her a lot of assurances in the relationship. Which, like I always say, too much assurance, it kills anxiety. And you might think that's a good thing, but the thing is, anxiety is the second cousin to attraction. So if you kill anxiety, you kill attraction. If you kill attraction, relationship over. You need her to feel uncomfortable to some degree to keep emotionally and psychologically investing in you. Does that make sense? So yeah, just get another girl, man. Is it worth it to have an Instagram? Especially if you have a good lifestyle, absolutely. But only if you have a good lifestyle. If not, no, it's not worth it. Insta or Snap stories are great for conveying value. Do that enough and girls will leave comments on every story. Absolutely. Absolutely. The kind of comments I get on my stories are, is that your girlfriend? Which girlfriend is that? Which number? It's funny. Because my girls are always like, I don't even record my own stories anymore. My girls do that. So I always get the funniest responses. The Pokemon character is Gladion Got Your Hair. Bet. I'll check him out later. It's insane how Will Smith's confidence was in, which one is FPOBA? What's that? What movie is that? Is it Focus? Is that what you meant to say? What Will Smith's movie starts with F? You probably meant to write Focus, actually, now that I'm looking at it. Because on the QWERTY pad, all the letters you typed are close to all the letters that spell Focus. So you might be talking about Focus there. And Hitch, yeah, you're right. Yeah, he's like that in real life. Yeah, it's very, if anything, it means he's a great actor. He's a great actor. He fooled us all into thinking he's a confident man. Good for him. What are the characteristics of strength in game, and what kinds of exposure therapy help improve it? The biggest one I would say is the ability to take risks, right? The ability to take risks, and the biggest risk in the game, well, not the biggest, but the most important risk you can take in the game is the ability to disagree with a woman. A lot of men are very, very scared of disagreeing with women. So if you can start exposing yourself to putting yourself in a position where you can disagree with women, you're doing something right. You're doing something right. Let's see. How to improve social skills when you're older, not in school, so you don't chat to a lot of people. Why would you want to do that, though? The key is to chat to a lot of people when you're younger, so you can have people in your life that have invested in you for years, so you have people to talk to. You don't have to chat to new people when you're older. So that's kind of the plan. You don't have to. If you're still, it's like saying, how do I make my first $5,000 month at the age of 40? It's like, my guy, you're 40. You should have figured it out by now. At least that. At least that. Something would have had to go terribly wrong for you to not have figured out that part by now. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's getting dark out here. Let me toss this. Oh yeah, I already seen that. Solo dark game is what he does alone in a dark room or with his pants down. Who are we talking about? Now I have to ask how many fights you've had. Not smokers, not sparring fights. Live the thigh? What the hell does live the thigh mean? But nah. Let me see. I'm gonna have to check. I don't have any professional fights if that's what you're asking. No. No professional fights. But I've had a few tournaments. I don't want to sit up here and lie. I'll check. I'll check later. I'll get back to you on that. Are your girls still under constant anxiety? Absolutely. That's the kind of the best part about dating multiple women at the same time, is that anxiety will always be there because the other girls exist. So it's just easier that way. What is your IG? Same as my TikTok. It's pretty much the same thing as my TikTok in terms of like the content. So don't get too hype on it. He was talking about French Prince of Bel-Air. Oh, true, yeah. But hey, we all found out how he really was. Can't take a lot of anxiety, that guy. It's a lack of ability to handle inner anxiety that made him go on stage and slap Chris Rock. What movie should I watch that portrays lots of games so I can learn whilst having fun? Go watch Focus by Will Smith. That's probably his best one. It's my favorite one too, and it's the one that made me realize, like, yo, why is he dealing with Jada Pinkett if he can have chemistry like that with Margot Robbie? Like, what are you doing? Why are you stupid? Weirdo. But yeah, go watch Focus by Will Smith. I'm really trying to get the self-belief imprinted in my brain, but I often find myself returning to my old self. Well, how about you assume the new self right now? The reason you keep finding yourself slipping back is because you still think is that new self as a distant future. Why don't you bring that future to the present? Why don't you borrow the audacity from that guy to you right now? Right? It's important. I naturally fit with the protector archetype, but I find myself being scared of embodying it completely. Sometimes because I feel like you might become too far gone, if that makes sense. How do I deal with that in a struggle? I wouldn't worry about that too much. I would rather you hit that extreme and then correct from there than to be scared to hit that extreme to begin with. All right? With all things with game, like the whole red pill rage thing we were talking about. When you find things about women that you don't like or are disparaging about them and you feel angry about it, like, allow yourself to get angry about it. It's okay. You'll learn not to get angry about it when you've exhausted that anger. And you come back to, oh, yeah, my anger is useless. Right? So that's how it works. Allow yourself to reach that extreme. You're never going to, like, if you're a provider right now, you're not, or you're a protector, the idea isn't even to be one or the other. Those two are actually bad, ultimately. You want us to be somewhere in the middle. Either a provider with the willingness to protect, or even better, a protector with the willingness to provide. But in order to get to any of that nuance, you got to hit both extremes. You got to hit both extremes. I know protectors that try to go all the way to providers and they hated that shit. And then they found a way to etch back to protector, but they stayed in the middle. I know, which is majority of men, that start out as providers, get red pill rage, hit protector types, and then refine it and become somewhere in the middle. That's how it works. You got to hit both extremes to get the nuance. Let's see. Who is the other user 555 imposter? Change your name, broski. For real? I was getting a little confused there. Who is that fucking imposter? Change your fucking name. There's only one user 555. And it's my boy here. Sorry, I was supposed to say love the confidence. AO swipe always gets me. Sure. I don't even... Where did you say... I don't even know. Is being yourself a bad advice when it comes to women? It's only bad advice if what you are is goofy. And when I say goofy, I don't mean like the general definition of it. I mean, if what you are is a weak man, do not be yourself. Because that's not going to work. Women don't respond to that. If what you are is a guy like me, absolutely be yourself. Great, you're charismatic, you're funny, you're confident, you have skills, you have experience, you have amazing belief in yourself. Absolutely be yourself. But if you are the kind of guy that crumbles under pressure and allows anxiety to get the better of you, be anything but that. That's really what it comes down to. It's great advice depending on who you are. You know, if you had to beat 10 men, which weapon would you choose? All 10 men bloodlusted. All of them? Probably an AK-47. That would probably be my best bet. I'd probably have to shoot each one more than once because they're bloodlusted. That'd be my best bet. Yeah. I'm Nigerian. That's the standard firearm for our police force, which is a war weapon, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. But yeah, I got jumped in front of my girl, had to run away. Now she's looking down on me. What should I do? Why did you run away though? Like you ran away and left her? Yeah, you kind of deserve that. You don't deserve a girl. I wouldn't even want to tell you how to fix that so your girl doesn't end up being in the hands of a man that won't protect her. You deserve that. She deserves to look at you like less, because you are. Really glad Dante had you on his S. Me too, man. I think I should be there soon too. It's been a while. I gotta get back on there. Is proper game understanding some women will leave even when you're doing everything right in game? No, that's proper simp game. When you're good at game, you realize that it's impossible for a woman to leave you when you're doing everything right. But the problem, and that's the reason why you even asked that question, is because most men don't know what doing everything right actually looks like. I pay for everything. I gave her a house and a home. We have kids together. None of that is good game. None of that is doing everything right. Oh, I went to medical school and I made a lot of money. I made sure I treat her nice and buy her flowers and go on dates. None of that is doing everything right. A lot of men say do those things and then say they did everything right. They didn't. When you're doing everything right, which really comes down to stretching her emotional walls, right? Giving her a mixture of positive and negative emotions in quick successions, bitch ain't going nowhere. It's impossible. It's not even her choice. None of it is her choice. It's biology, baby. Right? So, yeah, it's very possible to do everything right, assuming you're doing the right things and keep her around like indefinitely. Absolutely. Have you watched The Tower of Steve? No, I've heard of it though. That was years ago. I heard about The Tower of Steve, but I haven't watched it. Yeah, but it's really easy for me to protect from a place of providing, but I don't get it the other way around. That's why I want to learn how to be a protector completely first, so I can learn the nuance from the side. Sure, you can do that. There's nothing wrong with that. What if you run away from getting jumped, don't get hit, but now your high rep with girls is destroyed? Oh, okay, I see. So now your high rep that there wasn't necessary with girls is destroyed, and the jealous girls you reject previously hating on you. Rejected previously, which again, guys, be careful with English. The girls you rejected, so you got jumped and you ran away, and now your reputation has suffered because of it, and now all the girls you rejected before are using that as an opportunity to dunk on you. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. Sounds about right. You got to rebuild your reputation, but you got to overcorrect though. Everyone thinks of you as weak now. You probably got to go fight somebody. When I was in high school, that's one thing I did do correctly, honestly. I did it towards the wrong person, but I was still happy with how it turned out. So, at one point, everyone went around with the rumor that I was pussy. I can't remember even what I did to why they thought that was the case. But I remember that week feeling a lot of pressure on myself. Like, I gotta go fuck somebody up if I'm going to get my rep back. So I ended up fighting someone, and I lost the fight, mind you. But the fight was so close and high level that I got the respect of everybody anyway. So, yeah, you might have to do some massive overcorrecting. Like the guys that wanted to jump you, can you take them out one by one? Can you do that? Gotta do a lot of fighting. Go for it. But you gotta fix your reputation. It's on you. Do you think reaching hot game is the end goal, like having such a big social circle that you always get invited out to events with beautiful people and treated like a celeb? That's not the end goal. No. The end goal is making you a better person. The end goal is giving you as much psychological and emotional strength as possible, because that's what women are for. It's not the social circle or the women themselves that are the point. It's the way they test you to make you a better man. That's the end goal, at least for me. At least that's how I see it. Women are like an iron that sharpens the iron that is us, right? So the social circle, cool, nice bonus. The having girls all the time, awesome, whatever. But what really matters in the end is that they make you the kind of man that can handle anything. And that's essentially what you'll be when you have a lot of women around you. They will test the fuck out of you and they will make you better. That's the end goal. You say that a man should pay for the first date. After the date, she can pay for all dates. Well, not all of them, but definitely some of them for sure. I feel like every second date, I mean, maybe I'm saying this because this is how it's happened for all the girls I'm with right now, but every second date, she should pay for it. Again, don't take that as a hard rule. I have literally never enforced that rule. But maybe it's just because of the kind of guy I am and the way I present myself to women, they always offer to pay for everything on the second date. Like, one of my girls, my second date with her was literally my birthday date. Like, she was like, what are you doing on your birthday? I'm like, oh, just meeting family, whatever. She's like, do you have time after 7:30? I want to take you to this cool place. I'm like, oh, cool. Second date with this girl, mind you. We had gone to a Mexican joint first, and then second date was with this to this other place. High level place, cool place. She paid for everything, even the tip. So, yeah. That's how it works. I think if the girl is proper and bougie, and that's kind of girls I deal with. Proper, bougie, classy, beautiful women, high self-esteem. They're gonna naturally feel that inclination to add as much value to you as you do to them. Like, that's one thing, and that's why I love all my relationships. All my girls are constantly like, listen, I just feel like I could be doing more for you. I just feel like I could be doing more. Like, again, part of that is I'm fucking awesome, right? Not to brag, but they'll be the ones to tell you I treat them so fucking well that they're always feeling like they're in a deficit to me. Like, fuck, you do so much for me. I love you so much. How can I be useful to you? How can I help you? Da, 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 da. That's how it should be. It's really how it should be. But again, if the girl is proper, if you're dating these ratchet chicks, I can see how. I don't date them, so I don't. Oh, that's a cool scooter. Nice. I don't date them, so I can't even tell you how they would respond. I don't know, but I can see how if you date like ratchet chicks and chicks that aren't that high level or high quality, I can see how they would be like just greedy, me, take, right? So, probably the advice would be don't date women like that. Let's see. Is women game basically making yourself tell too much about you and get you excited so they can leave because you're too predictable? That's not their game, but that is one of the tests they do. That's not their game. Their game most of the time is to play innocent. That's what women's most of the time do. Women most of the time play the innocent girl game. And it works very well. I can't even blame them for doing that. Me personally, I take that as an insult. Right? Again, kind of guy I am, what I know, my level of intelligence. I hate whenever women try to play like, I'm just this innocent little girl. I'm always at home doing nothing. I've only had 2 boyfriends. I hate when bitches do that. But that's because I'm me. And I take that as a personal insult to my intelligence, right? But, yeah, that's usually their real game. Their real game is to try to play innocent. Don't fall for that. None of them are. And then, yes, I'm generalizing there on purpose. On purpose, so much so. Because, indeed, like in this world we live in, the day of the innocent woman is long gone. Long gone. But yeah, that's definitely one of the tests they give you. They try to see if you be dumb enough to open your blabber mouth and just give them all the sauce, and then they don't find you attractive anymore, because why would they want a man like that? What do you think of guy friends? I wouldn't worry about them too much. I worry more about the girlfriends. The female friends are gonna do more damage to your relationship than the guy friends. I wouldn't worry too much about the guy friends. But yeah, if you want to deal with the guy friends, literally just tell her, like, one, this guy wants to fuck you. Don't act like you're that stupid. And if you are that stupid, then let me know so I can leave, because I'm not dealing with a girl like that. And then 2, now that you agree that this guy is stupid, or sorry, not this guy is stupid, but that this guy wants to be with you in that way, I'm gonna need you to get rid of him. And then this is what I say. I always bring everything back to their female nature. This is how I always put it. I go, listen, are you that lacking in belief in yourself that you always need to have a backup lingering around in case you and I don't work out? Because I know that's why he's here, right? You don't like him. If you liked him, I wouldn't be in the picture. You'd just be with him. But you keep him around to make you feel better about yourself because you don't know if it'll work out with me. And honestly, that's what makes this unattractive for me. It's like, I thought you had better confidence about yourself than this. Literally say that to them, especially if she's a hot chick. Immediately, she's going to feel like shit, right? Usually, at this point, for me, personally, this is where they go, well, you have all these backups. You have all these other girls in your life. And it's like, yeah, I do, because I'm a guy. And that's harder for me to do than you. Right? If you really needed another guy after I'm gone, you can get one like that. What the hell? It's not even the same thing. What are you talking about here? You're hot as fuck. What are you doing? So, yeah, this is unattractive to me. The fact that you need some weasel of a guy to be there as your backup in case things don't work out between you and me, that's making me lose a lot of attraction for you. Like, either you get rid of him or, I'm just going to completely have all the attraction I feel for you die. Say it like that. Say it like that. I have a sister that is a doctor but 29 and struggling to get married due to high expectations. What advice could I give her? Her having high expectations. Okay, a lot of guys are gonna hate me for saying this. I don't mind when a woman has high expectations. That's not the issue. They all do to some degree anyway. The issue is that they don't have the value to match. That's the problem. A lot of women want a guy like me. A lot of women will never be able to get a guy like me because a guy like me wouldn't want that kind of woman. Does that make sense? It's not that the expectations, like, again, you can see it like that. You can see it like the expectations are high, or you can see it like the value she's adding doesn't match her expectations. It's okay to want a PlayStation 5. There's nothing wrong with that. They're super rare. You can barely get one on the market these days. You can still want one. But do you have your $500 though? Don't go to the PlayStation store with only $100 and expect to get one. You're lying to yourself. So your sister has to be honest with herself. What she wants. Do they want her? If the answer is no, then she has to make one or two adjustments. One, want less, which again, I don't even want to tell women that because why would I make women suffer like that? Or two, the better option, work on yourself so that you can get the guy you want. Hit the gym. Maybe look into getting a few type of surgeries. You're a doctor, right? You got money. You got the money for it, and you got surgeon friends probably, so they'll give you a discount. But yeah, like get shit popping. If you can't live with the idea of going down in value, then meet the value head on. Generate more value for yourself. That's how you do it. All right, it's like business. Don't complain that you have to reduce your prices. Just make a better product and then increase your prices. That's how it works. You can charge better prices, but make sure the product will make people feel buyer's remorse when they buy it. You know what I mean? That's really what it comes down to. Tell your sister I said hi and stop being goofy. Yeah, so how do I get comfortable doing that? Like, how do I manage the issue that come with the protector archetype? Again, don't worry about it. If it comes, it comes. Give yourself the grace to make those mistakes. It's okay. It's okay. I've made mistakes in my past too, and lost a lot of good opportunities and destroyed a lot of good relationships because of those. But that's all part of the learning process. You know, a lot of those mistakes, especially when it comes to changing archetypes, are unavoidable. It's okay. Cry in advance. Doing everything right, as in stay within the laws of the game, will some women self-sabotage? Well, staying within the laws of the game and making sure that you're in a good fit in a relationship with a woman are two different things. You can obey all the laws of the game, but if you're a 10 and she's a 7, things are still going to go wrong. Does that make sense? So, like, you obey the law at that point. Like, yeah, you're physically and psychologically positioned higher, but yeah, there is a too high, which is more of like an exemption to the rule, or like a nuance within the rule. Which actually, all the advanced laws of the game, because those ones, the ones I was talking about, the beginner laws, all the advanced laws of the game are really just the beginner laws, but like the nuance within them. Does that make sense? So take psychologically positioned, right, as an example. Being psychologically positioned higher than her is one of the laws of the game. It's very important, or else you can't get her. But then there is a too high. There is a too high. and then that backfires. You know what I mean? So you can be within the laws of the game and still, fuck up yourself. Now, if you stay within both the laws of the game, the basic ones and the advanced ones, impossible. You're fine. Your relationship is going to last forever. Literally. Right? Let's see. Mystery took the 2 first rules of Tao Stephen, made them to 1A, 1-2, be desireless and be excellent. Oh, did he now? Cool. I gotta go check it out then. Do you plan on relocating to Nigeria? Not anytime soon. Just Charger, a girl who told me, it's a restaurant or nothing because... Oh, charged? Is that what you mean? Like you charged the girl to the game? Who told you it's a restaurant or nothing because all the guys she dated took her to a fancy restaurant. She's the type of girl who traveled to 50 countries even though she works an average job. Oh yeah, that's a girl that doesn't respect you anyway. So I wouldn't worry about that. Clearly you presented yourself in a way that made her feel like she was comfortable enough to say that. But even I run into girls like that all the time. They never talk to me like that. Never. I mean, they used to, before I really understood what I was doing. But at this point, it's been 7 years since I had a girl talk to me like that. You have to take me here. I don't get that anymore. Because when you present yourself like a kind of guy that, a once in a lifetime opportunity for women, women don't go out of their way to mess up their once in a lifetime opportunity. Does that make sense? Women, if they fuck with you and like you and they see value in you, are not going to go out of their way to say something they know might make you see them in a bad light. So if she was comfortable enough to do that, correct your behavior. Do you like Mexican food? Yes, a lot, actually. I just had, here's a weird thing I do sometimes. I get tortillas, heat them up, and then I just dip them in queso and eat them like that. Because think about it. Chips, the tortilla chips are made from the tortillas, but deep fried in oil. Why deep fry them in oil? Just eat them like that, dip them in the queso. Yeah, they're great like that. They're great that way. Yeah, me personally though. Don't listen to my weird ass. Let's see. I prefer cold approach, but my friend was asking me, what do you do if a girl becomes dry texting online? You instigate. You can you can do that, or you can just start talking to other girls. It's too early in the stage for you to worry about what she might or might do. At this point, I don't even notice when girls don't reply to me because I'm just talking to so many. Does that make sense? Just talk to a lot. Focus on what's good and not what's bad, and you'll be fine. So a way not to allow them to run game on you is to not believe or take seriously whatever they say. Literally, that's a huge part of not allowing women to manipulate you, is dismissing whatever the fuck they gotta say. Not even kidding. Not even kidding. I gotta go soon though, guys. I got one more call today and then I'll be back. Weirdly placed call, but I gotta go. I'll be back in, I think it's an hour-long call, so I gotta go soon, in less than 30 minutes. But yeah, questions anyway. What's going on, Michael Jordan? By the way, how do you react when she talks about other guys she dated or smashed on the first date? On the first date is crazy. Now, did you ask about that? Is that what happened? If you asked about that, you can't really be mad. Now, if she just started talking about it out of nowhere, that's another thing. All right. In which case you go, yeah, I don't appreciate that you're talking about that. Yeah, let's change the subject. I don't really care about that right now. When I'm ready to ask you about that, I will, but I don't care much for that. At the same time, though, you do gotta wonder, what the hell have you been doing in that date to make her feel comfortable enough to take a risk like that? Because for a woman that likes you, that's a massive risk to take. Why would she do that? Type shit. Isn't guy friends a false problem? Since if these friends had game, they wouldn't be just friends. Exactly, that's what I said. Do you think it's easier to teach men to do better or teach women to do better? Men, obviously, not even close. That's part of why I don't coach women. That's a big reason why I don't coach women. I don't believe in it because the man dictates how she behaves anyway. When a woman, I don't care how stubborn she is, when she's obsessed with a guy, she goes by his lead. She follows his lead. She goes by what he says. So why would I teach women when ultimately, no matter what I teach them, it'll fly out the window the moment the guy that she's fucking with tells her to do the opposite? Way easier. Not to mention, men have the burden and the responsibility to be better than women. Why would you want to live if we lived in a world where women were better than men, we would never be able to bag women. That's the laws of biology right there. We need to be the positionally higher ones. So yeah, absolutely. Men, way easier. And way more consequentially correct. I get it, so the laws of the game are concrete and you have to follow, but any other move you can do be played as long as it follows the laws. Yes, literally. Fish Army, late again. Everybody boo this man Fish Army for being late. Boo! 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 I'm happy you're here though. Let's see. When you drop in a video about the advanced laws of the game, we'll think about that. It probably won't be a video, probably be a course, but we'll see about that. Yeah, my sis already got some surgeries and is quite attractive, just can't seem to get a guy she wants. I bet you it's something to do with what she's doing in the beginning stages. I bet you. Because especially with women, there's a reason why men complain about women that are making a lot of money, right? In my experience, mind you, I'm talking about as a guy who, literally, all of them, most of my girls are making more money than me, literally. Let me tell you what's wrong with these type of women. They follow rules that don't matter. They try their best to be disciplined about rules that do nothing but put them in the position to get guys they don't want. I'll give you an example. I've met these kind of women that will have weird rules for what has to happen on the first date, what has to happen by the second date, or all these other weird things like that. The problem with those rules is that no self-respecting man would ever fucking follow them. I'm saying it again. No self-respecting man, I don't care what the fuck your dating coaches told you, I'm talking about you ladies, no man like, I don't want to brag and say like me, but no man of a certain level of confidence and charisma would ever follow those fucking rules. So those women, I've come to find in my experience, are shooting themselves in the foot. Tell your sister to adjust whatever those fucking rules are. Right? Literally. A man's compliance doesn't make him more attractive. So I don't know why dating coaches keep telling women to get compliance from men. It's different from the other way around, right? I tell men all the time, get a woman's compliance. Because to a man, a woman's compliance is attractive. You see how that works? If we can just remember that men and women are different, and we're looking for different things, and we respond in different ways to the same things, we'll have better dating lives. If women can remember that them being supplicating and submissive and lowering themselves to man is what makes men want to invest in them more, then it becomes easy for them. If men know the exact same thing and know that women don't want a man that supplicates, then it becomes easy for men. So I bet you anything, your sister is doing things, especially like chicks in the medical field. Your sister is doing things that thinks will give her respect in a man's eyes, but go and tell your sister I told her, her respect that she's building means fucking nothing. Respect helps attraction with women. It doesn't do shit for men. You think I respect my bitches? I call them my bitches. But that's why they're there. That's why I love them so much. Men don't fuck what they respect. It's so weird that this is like not common sense. It's so fucking weird. Tell your sister I said that. The man she wants, the man or men she wants. Well, man, I'm hoping. The man she wants will never respect her. Not in the way she thinks. Like, he'll have like some mutual respect for her, some, kind of reverence for her in a way. But that, like, no, not in the way she thinks. When you find that man next, lower yourself to him. Like, make sure it's the man. Do what you do as a woman naturally. Test him to make sure he's what you think he is. But then when you find out, bitch, stop, drop, and roll. Or how do they say it, right? Stop, drop, and roll. Ruff, ruff, be his puppy dog. That's how you invest. I would never invest in a woman that says no. It baffles me That motherfuckers out here have whole wives that tell them no. You have a wife and she says no to you? How is that working? I know you're miserable. I know you're miserable. So yeah, I always tell women that. If you want a guy with a certain level of charisma, lower yourself. That's the game for you, if you're a woman. Let's see. What is the real reason women assume that you're sleeping with someone else in your free time? That's just the way of telling you that they think you're attractive. That's it. It's not a bad thing, by the way. Don't take offense to that. Is 2/3 protector, 1/3 provider a good point to be at? If you want to think about it like that, sure. And you'll get hotter girls by being that guy. Kind of describes me, honestly. I'm trying to teach a homeboy game. Where do I start? You send him to my channel and make him watch all my videos. Because I promise you, you're not in the position to teach him. Not yet. Especially you, Philip. How you present yourself as a lifetime opportunity, once in a lifetime opportunity, just lifetime opportunity, is the scarce distribution of attention or being assertive with your words. It's all those things and more. It's making her value your validation more than anything else. So being scarce with it, yes, but then distributing it correctly. Giving her compliments when she deserves them. It's very important. The idea isn't to not compliment women. The idea is to know when. And that's when she complies to you. You should use your compliments, especially the heartfelt ones, and your validation in general, as a way to reward her for good behavior. Right? What belt are you in jiu-jitsu and how much do you train a week? I am embarrassed to tell you I am a blue belt. But I went through a massive break in my jiu-jitsu training, so I really am not a blue belt. It's kind of like, let me put it like this. When I spar in jiu-jitsu, I don't spar other blue belts. I don't. One, because I want to get better. But two, it wouldn't be fair for them. So it's a weird thing with my belt journey. Let's just put I didn't get my belt when I was supposed to. So I had to be in white belt a little longer than I should have been. Essentially. Right? So yeah. That's the story behind that. Let's see. I know you've been through a lot of hardship and in your impenetrable belief that it's gonna get better. Yeah. That my impenetrable belief made me believe it was going to get better, helped you through it to the point, because that much hardship often turns people into incels. Any tips for not becoming bitter for those people, and even when you feel like you want to give up, to stick to it? So, you have to believe in better days. You have to believe that the pain and the hurt and the anxiety you feel now will pass. It's keeping your eyes on the light at the end of the tunnel. If you allow yourself to forget that light exists and all you see is darkness in front of you, then you will seep closer and deeper into that darkness. It's remembering that darkness is temporary. Does that make sense? You have to remember that darkness is temporary. It's temporary. I know you're not getting bitches right now. I know it just seems like everyone hates you, including girls. They don't want anything to do with you. But don't allow your anger to go towards them. Don't allow that to happen. Because you getting angry isn't going to get them on your dick. Is it now? So, focus your energies on things that matter. Making yourself more palatable. Making yourself more interesting. And believing that there's a day, a future, where you open your eyes and there's 4 girls in front of you. And they're all fucking gorgeous and they'll do anything for you. That's what you got to do. You gotta remember, I wasn't born how I am right now. I built this motherfucker brick by brick, right? So, shout out to Franklin the Saint. So, you just gotta hold on to that future. Hold on to that future tight. That's what I would say. Let's see. When you start talking to so many girls, do you not notice being left undelivered? What number do you have in mind? I would say you gotta have at least 20 girls on your phone hitting you up, at the very least. Across all apps and all that stuff, 20 girls, I would say. If they're all hitting you up at the same time. Now, a lot of them will fall off, but that's okay because then you'll narrow your focus on the few that stayed and you'll like them more. So by the end of it, you probably have 5 girls really talking to you, but it's 5 girls. and you can only be on one date at a time. You know what I mean? So by that time, it's gonna be okay. What can you do to make people regret losing you, both men and women? I wouldn't worry about making people regret losing you, honestly. It's not even, like, I get people like to feed into that energy, like, yeah, do this to make her regret. It doesn't matter if she regrets or not. The game is the game, baby. Keep playing. Don't worry about if they regret losing you or not. Besides, that kind of mindset is why they will never regret losing you, no matter how much better and how much more money you make. Right? What makes them really regret losing you is you finding happiness without them, and then truly forgetting about them. If you really need them to regret losing you, that's how you do it. You wake up one day and go, huh, I haven't thought about so and so in a year. That's crazy. By that time, they're already like wallowing in self-pity, right? So go do you. Just play the game. It's okay. Don't take anything that did personal. Don't get angry at them. That's all. That's just, it's energy you're allowing to seep out of yourself that is not going towards anything useful. So don't worry about all that shit. Your Pitfall Part 4 video spoke into my soul. Rushing is my biggest problem. For most beginners, it is, for sure. When you just want to get to the end already, it's a need to blow your load, and you don't need that need. You know what I mean? Why you keep putting the in weird places, Abid? If biologically we exist to replicate and our society is built on it, why do gay people exist? That's a very good question, and this is the answer to that question. It's actually in the book Sperm Wars too, but this is how it kind of goes. It turns out, on a biological level, there is a theory of a gay gene, and it turns out that those with the gay gene have a higher chance of reproduction than those with the straight gene. Does that make sense? On average, gay dudes have kids earlier and quicker than straight dudes. Why? Because they have an advantage that straight dudes don't have, which is the ability to tap into a woman's emotional circuitry a lot quicker. Because essentially, a lot of gay dudes, that is, are kind of women themselves. So it's a cheat code for them. In reality, that's an advantageous gene to have in some cases. Does that make sense? It's kind of weird, but it's true. It's very true. And besides, even in gay relationships, even though replication cannot happen there, they still all obey the laws of the game. Like, there's still the masculine gay dude and the feminine gay dude. So, regardless, they can't really escape the laws of the game. Boo. Yes, indeed. Boo, Fish Army. Bro, please give a timeline example to text on IG first. After first date. Bro, can you give a fizz reaction? Do you think Jameer is a good example? I don't know what any of those words mean. You gotta stop talking like I assume what you mean when you say fizz and who Jameer is. I don't know what they are. I have no idea what any of that means. For the example you're talking about with text, just go get the interview like course, which I will fix after this live. Don't worry. It's like God sent me to her, bro. Oh, did he now? Why do you think so? The dark game, bro. It's past 10 p.m. Nah, go sleep. What's your thoughts on body language and perfecting it? The correct body language will happen naturally when you carry yourself with respect, when you think of yourself highly. There's certain things you just won't do anymore. Like, a lot of body language and body language training is kind of useless because you can't train out everything if you don't have the right mindset. Like, you can learn to keep your shoulders square and your chest out and your walk is nice and masculine and you sit with your spread legs and all that goofy shit. Or you move your hands a lot and all that stuff. You can do that, but if deep down in your mind you still feel like a bitch, there'll be tiny micro expressions that she'll catch that let her know he's a bitch. So I would say work more on the mindset than the body language. The body language will happen as a nice byproduct. Like I said in your video, what video are we talking about? Do you have examples of healthy feminine and unhealthy masculine? Huh? There's no such thing. There's no such thing as unhealthy masculine. If it's masculine, it's masculine and it's healthy. It's like when they say toxic masculinity. What they call toxic masculinity is not masculinity at all. It's just feminine men being overly aggressive. Does that make sense? There's no such thing as healthy masculinity or femininity or unhealthy masculinity or femininity. Get that out of your mind. The man will never respect her until you lower yourself to him. Thank you for that, man. I'll tell her that. Please do. What are some ways to improve on being smooth and being quick with it? Practice. It's not even some ways. It's the only way. Just practice. Practice, practice, practice. I can tell you what to say, but until you find yourself in that high tension, high anxiety position in front of that beautiful woman, and you execute it correctly, then, it's kind of useless to know the words. What about long distance? What about long distance? What do you want to know about it? Is game easier to implement or navigate when you are attractive in a woman's eyes? Yes, to some degree. To some degree. Like, there's things that are easier about it, there's things that are harder about it. When you're attractive, there's a burden of attractiveness. I've talked about this before. When you're an attractive guy, you are expected to behave like an attractive guy. Unfortunately, for most attractive guys, they don't behave like attractive guys. Does that make sense? So yeah, there's a stricter rules for attractive men. If you're attractive, you better have charisma. You better be smooth. You don't get to be attractive and behave unattractively. Women punish you harder when you're an attractive guy that behaves less than attractive than a guy that's actually unattractive. It's so weird. And then the inverse is true, by the way. If you're an unattractive guy and you behave attractively, women notice that more and quicker than if you're an attractive guy that behaves attractively. Because it's an anomaly. It's something they're not used to. Does that make sense? So, yeah. There's things that are easier about it, like when you're attractive and they find you attractive already, it's much easier to build an emotional connection, right? But you also get that backlash of, if you make mistakes, you'll get punished for it harder. Be very careful with that. Let's see. Bro just described me. Yeah, I tend to do that. Sorry if I was being a little harsh. He built different. Indeed. It's a disruption in nature. Yes, it is. What do you do if you had a lapse of character to a potential partner, got mad, and coworkers, the rebound to getting out of character? Huh? I hope this is what you're talking about, though, because I literally have a story about that I'm posting tomorrow. About a girl that played me that I was working with, that coworkers found out about us dating, and then it just ended bad and I ended up getting fired. That entire story is coming out tomorrow. Stay tuned. Can you give homework before you go? Do that homework I told you. Not that homework, but like the exercise I told you to do earlier in the live. Walk up to 10 different girls and be like, "Hey, I just wanted to. Hey, what's your name?" Ask them for their name, and then be like, "Listen, I just came here to tell you I think you're pretty." That's all I wanted, by the way. I just saw you from over there. I thought you were attractive. I just wanted to tell you you're gorgeous. Keep doing you. I gotta go. Bye. Literally, do that 10 times, 10 different women. That's your homework. Let's see. Something I realized in the game is that it's better to over-escalate in the beginning rather than under-escalate, then calibrate from there. Yes, it's very true. Yes, it is very true. And I can't remember who was asking me, how can you do that while at the same time being indirect? Indirectness has to do with how much you make her work for your validation. It's not even about the level of interest you telegraphed. It's about how much you make her work for your interests to be telegraphed. Does that make sense? Once you do that, once she works for it, then you can telegraph interest. And you can escalate, you can spike escalation quickly. And you need to, so you don't have to correct later. And you're very right about that, user 5555. Real ones know Jace drops dark game at the end of the most lives. Indeed. He'll tell you to practice the one he gave earlier. Do you believe in chakras and unlocking? By the way, good read on that. Do you believe in chakras and unlocking energy centers throughout your body? Believe in it is a strong word, but I've seen it help a lot of people. If you want to do that, go for it. I'm not mad at it. Do what you got to do. Hey y'all. Hello. That's semantics. Strength equals healthy. Cool. But to say aggressive as if it not masculine in itself is delusional. Hold on. Let me read the rest of your bullshit before I dismantle your argument completely. If feminine is the weak and frail, then how come aggression is also suddenly included in it when it is usually included in masculinity. Okay, cool. Awesome. Now, let's get a few words right, all right? And I'm going to try to do this without getting angry, because I hate when a man talks like this. If you're a woman, I would be more forgiving. But you're a grown fucking man. All right, no. Let me calm down. All right. Strength equals healthy or cool. Wrong. Let's get that out of the way, right? Hopefully you agree with that. And then you say, but to say aggressive as if it's not masculine in itself is delusional. Okay. Aggression is a part of masculinity. Aggression is not masculinity. Just like nurturing is a part of femininity. Nurturing is not femininity. These are aspects of it. Okay? All right. Now we know the difference between major part and just part. Okay. Healthiness and strength are not the same thing. For instance, you've heard people talk about mental health. And I say the same thing about mental health. Mental health is not a real thing. Mental health is not a real thing. There is mental strength, there is mental weakness, but there is no mental health. You want to know why there's no mental health? Because there's no mental sickness. Not in those terms that people like to talk about. You can have things wrong with your biology in terms of like, you know, your brain secretes certain hormones a little more than others. Fair enough. You can have situations where you don't know how to control your mental, which by the way you have control over. But we'll get into that later. But mental sickness does not exist. Only mental weakness, as in an inability to properly control your mental. Which is why it's mental strength or mental weakness. Just like there's no healthy masculinity or sick masculinity or toxic masculinity. It's masculinity, and that's it. Anything else is not even masculinity at all. For instance, Will Smith walked up to the stage and smacked Chris Rock across the face. Was that masculine or not? No, it was not. Oh, but Jason, he was aggressive, and he did it like a man to protect his family. That's pseudo masculinity. It's not real masculinity. That was feminine energy. That was him feeling the need to eradicate himself from the anxiety of not knowing what to do in that situation and going out there and doing the worst thing he could do. He laughed at the joke, then went and smacked the guy that said it. Ain't nothing masculine about that. Where's the congruence? Congruence is part of masculinity. Where was the congruence there? So no. Simply put, no. That's not how it works. You can't call something that is less than ideal masculine because you want to call it that. That's not how it works. It's not masculinity. It's not. Okay, I gotta go soon, guys. Like literally in 2 minutes, I gotta call in 2 minutes. I don't know why I stayed this long. But like, what if you end up, hold on, hold on. But like, what if you end up bitching? How do you rebound? Like, you go out of character and gossip prevented. You got to rebuild your reputation by doing the things that make you look more powerful and eliminate all the behavior that made you look weak to begin with. That's how you rebound. Do you have your own hot seat at home program? No, not yet. That's what the interview light is going to become. What do you mean by escalate? Keynote? I mean like sexual escalation. By saying things that lead to the possibility of sex. That hint at the possibility of sex. What do you think about Sigmund Freud? He's a crazy motherfucker, but you should read his shit. Kind of like what Will Smith, literally. Yes, that's literally what I said. Absolutely. Thank you for that read. But yeah, I gotta go, guys. I literally have one last phone call today. And I'm cutting it close on that. But yeah, I will see you guys. I was gonna come back later, and I hopefully can, but it's kind of getting dark. I'll go get my lights from upstairs. But I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. If in case I don't come back, you will be seeing me tomorrow. Tomorrow's Tuesday, right? You will probably see me the same time tomorrow. If not the same time, you will see me later on. But you will see me tomorrow. I give you my word on that. All right, guys. See you later. Talk to you soon. Hope you actually go out there and use all this information. And don't forget, it's been Jace, your favorite scientist, doing disinformation what you must.